Get this run started in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, config, we need that memory cursor, we need faster text, and I still don't know whether there's any vibration in the game, but just in case, I'm turning it off. Pick up my rapiers and my chainmail as well. Now, on normal difficulty, that's all you can afford. On easy mode, because it's such a big discount for items, you can actually buy your spells as well, and probably have even more gold left over for other things. Go ahead and take top guard here. Alright, that looks good. I don't know why there's an extra guard in front of the guard, protecting the guard from himself. But you want to talk to the guard on the very outer border so that you can go ahead and have this cutscene with the king. Fingers crossed for Warmech. I hope we don't have any Warmechs, but you know, we'll try. We'll do our best here. Ooh, well, actually, wolves are not bad for experience early on, because they're easy to kill, and they give you a lot more experience than the corresponding number of imps would. And we'll go ahead and grab the imp battle here, because I need to get the experience for level 2. The alternative is to run around in the Starter Temple of Fiends until you get something like a ghoul or a zombie fight. Actually, probably the zombies aren't even enough. You almost certainly need ghouls, creeps, or grimps, maybe. But I think this works out a little bit better, assuming that you have the slightly slower reset times on the PlayStation like this. GBA, I would do it with the Temple of Fiends instead. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and drop our first memo save down. Oops. For some reason, memo save starts defaulting as yes and then turns to no after that because it's asking you to overwrite your old one. Alright, 3 Grimps, this will be a good enough one. This will definitely get us to level 2 once we kill Garland. At last, we've found this dastardly villain. We'll be able to take this guy down pretty easily, assuming that he doesn't get any criticals in. With the red mages, you have chainmail armor, which is really good protection. Oh, we're not doing any damage. Good job, everybody. Go to sword school next time. Wow, that's 5 misses in the first 2 rounds of combat. Here's one part where it's painful not having the second fighter. You can see the difference between the average damage of the red mages versus the fighters. They have a bigger swing in their stats compared to the NES one. Level 2 obtained. Go ahead and take our princess reward. Hey, Mass Mud Puppy, I did just knock Garland down. I mean, a stiff breeze would also knock Garland down, so he's lucky that that place is not drafty. How am I planning on routing the early spell purchases? I'm going to do the 15 puzzle and just buy all the spells. Well, not all the spells. I'm not going to get the haste spell until after we do ordeals. But I'll get all of the Fire 2 and Lit 2s up front. Such industrious workers. We're building the bridge with their bare hands, by the way. They don't even have hammers in this version. I believe GBA is where they kind of refine the graphics a little bit to have more of a hammer shape that they're holding. There we go. Let's see if that bridge truly is stronger. The last time we went across the bridge, it collapsed and Dan was swept away to his doom. So if that happens again, I'm going to want a refund on that bridge money that I put into it. Yeah, we have enough money to do this. Making sure that I could still stay at the inn after buying all these cure spells. Actually, you know what? Rather than staying at the inn, I should probably just get a tent. Which I can't afford because I only have 68 gold, not 75. Never mind. Yeah, they're supposed to be holding hammers in the bridge cutscene. It's just that the graphics are a little bit hard to see here. And when they do like their cheer animation, they don't seem to have hammers. It's just like their bare hands. So it was not really clearly done. And in the later remakes, you can kind of see that they went back and fixed up that cutscene a little bit. I mean, they put some more polish with like almost all the graphics in the later remakes as well. But like one or two of spots like that are where it's more noticeable. Here we go, the bridge in a seer. This cutscene also changed in the later versions. So this one basically has a fixed background there, where it is just kind of like at the very start of dawn. And in the GBA version, it has kind of like a changing color. So as it goes through the text here, it'll go and get brighter and brighter and brighter until it's about early morning for the lighting in the background. So they did definitely overhaul this one quite a bit as well. Oh, I know. Who gave Dan a crystal? What were they thinking? I can understand Ace, Bill, and Cal having crystals. They probably were heroic in the past, but Dan, he must have just, like, found it. How many times have I seen the bridge cutscene? No more than 20 times this week. Takes a while to get the playthrough started in NES. Actually, might have been more than 20. We did have quite a few attempts the last couple days before the most recent one was successful. Hope everybody saw the glorious victory over the Four Fiends in Chaos last night. Even if there was a Cure 4 in Chaos, it still was a really nice run. Dan's crystal, just a burnt out light bulb. I hope it's a working light bulb, because we do need to light these crystals up at some point. Let's see what we got. If there's a good fight in here, I can go ahead and take it. This one's actually not bad. Grip an imp. I could also try to run from it, and that'd be pretty fast as well. But I'm hoping for just a little bit of experience to get to level 3. Actually, no, wait. With this setup, I need to have 2 ogres, because we have 4 people alive. Never mind. I would need a lot of experience to get to level 3. Fiend refights were pretty tight. They were pretty butt clenching. There were some spots where I was not quite certain that Bill would be living through it, but he came through. Especially that Kraken and Tiamat fights. Man, those were terrifying. Guana might not have been a bad fight to take. It would be slow because we only have 1 fighter, but good experience. Ooh, quadruple mad pony ambush. That one's not worth trying to power through. There we go. I should be able to get to Provoca from here. what I'm thinking about doing is getting the silver swords and then getting level 3, which does mean getting to Elfland before I can go and fight anything else. But once you have the silver swords, it's an enormous upgrade in terms of your attack power, so I feel like that's going to work out a little bit better for how long it's going to take to get those first couple of fights done. Here we go, biggie time! This was before they buffed the pirates, so once you're into GBA and later, the pirates actually have way more HP. It was 6 HP in the original, so unless you missed like that, then you have a guaranteed kill. Even a black mage with a small knife at level 2 is going to kill a pirate. But the later remakes, I want to say it was 15 or 20 HP for the pirates. It's a definitely large increase, so sometimes a fighter with level 2 and a rapier does not kill him. Interestingly, though, that the GBA and later makes the red mages much faster by default. So they get 2 attacks per round by the time you get here. It also helps that if you have more experience, you can get level 3 pretty easily. That's right, take one ship. I don't know what they do with the pirate corpses. Do they just leave them there? Stinking the town up. And now, time for 15 puzzle. And again, I'm going to do 5 playthroughs. I can pretty much skip all of the early game treasures. This will give me 50,000 gold to work with. Where is my 8? Okay, there it is. Just chill out here until 45 seconds have passed. I want to give myself a little bit of a buffer to make sure that I can do all of these. There we go, victory number 1. Sure, I'll play some more 15 puzzle. That went pretty well last time. It's another hard 4. What's the best way of doing this? I guess bringing everybody down. Oh, this is going to be so slow. There we go. That was too slow. I only got 5,000 gold for that one. Well, maybe I'll just do 45,000 gold, see if that works out. Rather than doing another one. I spent too much time thinking about where to put the 7-8 combo to make that easier. I should have just pounded it in there. Wait for the 44 on this one. There's 25,000 gold. This is so much faster still than the amount of grinding that it takes to go and raise a lot of gold in the early game. It helps having the spells and gear much quicker as well, because it just makes the early fights go a lot smoother. So I like that the option's available, although it's pretty easy to heavily abuse this if you go all out on it. See, we need 43 seconds here, and that'll be 35,000 at that point. So only one more act. All right, and then the last one. And this one I don't have to wait for because we're not going to do anymore. So there we go. 5 wins. Let's go ahead and pick up our temper spells for everybody. That's the one spell that I want to get from Provoke for leaving. Ice 1, not nearly as useful. And with the more limited spell slots that you have in normal difficulty, you're rarely going to have a chance to really take advantage of it during combat here. So let's go ahead and get Temper. Temper and Temper. Now head on down to Elfland for our next bit of shopping. Elfland's going to have a lot of the gear that I need for both the fighters and red mages. I won't have the Lit 2 spell before going into Marsh Cave, so we're going to rely on Ace doing all the damage to kill the wizards. He's going to have 3 tempers, so it should be one shot, but if the wizards are like a pack of 4, it'd be really tough to go and kill them before they would beat us up, so I might have to re-roll the wizards a couple of times to make sure I get a good one. Hey, Dragonfire, welcome in. Welcome into Oropsilis as well. Oh, one step away. One step away. It's also a really terrible encounter. So 2 of the monsters there in the back are going to have paralysis, so you're going to quickly get stun locked, and the Sahags are fast enough that it's hard to run from them. Let's go ahead and try to get that last stretch in there. We're close enough with the boat that this should be possible to do without an encounter. See what we get. Double ogres. Well, let's do it. I need to stay at the inn anyway when we get there, and I'll also do all my shopping at the same time. This will get us level 3 for everybody in the party, and I can work on getting level 4 before we reach Marsh Cave, assuming that we get some good fights in there. And see how much more damage Ace is doing now that he's all buffed up. Those 3 tempers are going to give him more attack power than he would have with the Silver Sword. But what is holding him back is that he still only has 1 attack per round. And that'll be a big upgrade once we have that. Yep, 3 red mages. It's going to be a little bit slower at the start, but I'm hoping that we make up the time in the late game because I'll be able to buff a lot faster for the boss fights. Four mythical swords. I do want to pick up Fire 2 and Lit 2 while I'm thinking about it. Although they're actually not that important right now. Maybe I should wait a little bit to pick up these spells so I can buy more houses in the early game. Go ahead and snag some armor here for Ace. The armor upgrades are nice, just in terms of survivability. And since he is the front character, he will take more shots than anybody else. Okay, we need 1 of those, 3 of these, and 1 of these. And I'm shopping next. I want a big stack of potions. For normal mode, potions are very important. For easy mode, they're not so big. What you'll notice is that you have almost an entire ability to just go through the game with your Cure 1 and Cure 2 spells because you got so many spell slots. But with the normal NES spell slot count, that doesn't work nearly as well. See if we can pick up a good encounter here. It's not a great encounter. Let's go ahead and take it. I needed experience for the party at the level 4 before we go into Marsh Cave. Actually, I guess we don't have to be getting it before Marsh Cave, but it would help me avoid having to do a bunch of healing inside. Must buy potions 1 at a time. Well, that would be time-consuming and laborious, so we're not going to do that. See if we get another good encounter here. These are okay-ish encounters. Not great, but assuming that we can get through them rather quickly, then we can have enough experience to be close to level 4 for first couple of battles in Marsh Cave. I could probably take muck battles and anything else that is just simple physical damage. This is where you can notice the easy mode differences really clearly. With double experience from the fights, you'd be probably like level 5 or level 6 by now. Just not having to do anything at all really to go and advance levels in the early game. Ooh, nice double ogres. Ace should be relatively safe, but just in case, I'm going to go ahead and drop the Cure 1 on him. How did I decide on the names I use in my playthroughs? So it's A, B, C, D for the character names. That's important for the NES version of the game because you get your party reordered every time somebody gets a status ailment that persists after battle. Things like poison or petrification. And since you need to know who's got what equipment on and who's got what spell slots available, you really can't easily do things in different orders. Also, the game prioritizes enemy targeting based on your party order, so you want to have your beefiest characters in the front so that they can absorb a lot of hits. All right, everybody, level. Let's see what our formation's like. This is going to be level 4 now, so I can go and cruise through here. Okay, it looks like Dan's actually our second best character right now. So let's go throw a cottage at him. I think I'll need some tempers for the wizard battle. I might be able to do wizards without tempers, but it'd be pretty dangerous. I'm noticing how long it takes to do the startup here. I'm hoping that we get this time back over the next couple of dungeons from having those 3 red mages. It's definitely a slower start overall. Doing 1 extra 15 puzzle, and then having to take longer in the fights because of only having 1 fighter. It does add up time pretty quickly on that. Ooh, gas as well. Those are the renamed ghouls. They'll be the first monster that you see that has paralysis in this part of the world. We're going to use as a meat shield for boss fights. I mean, usually it's the fighter that's the guy in front. Like, even if it's your best character, except for a few rare fights, it's okay to have him in the first slot, since he'll have the most defense and the most HP to work with. Okay, got about halfway through. Go around to the south side here. It makes you go in a kind of a strange pattern here because of the way that the little pillars are laid out. And on the NES version, I would go around the left-hand side to take advantage of the safe square in front of the doorways. But in the remakes, all the safe squares, for the most part, are gone. So you have only a limited number of squares that do not potentially have encounters. Like, in doorways, there's still safe squares. But almost everywhere else in dungeons, the safe squares are either absent or much reduced than where they were before. I pick up the cottage here. So the house would save me 3,000 gold in the early game, which is pretty good for the amount of time it takes to go and grab it. But it'd be interesting to see what it's like to not pick up anything at all for items. Let's go snag it. What about damage tiles? Damage tiles are still safe squares, so that has not changed in terms of how it works. Hey, Safer, welcome in. Right in front of the chest. Gargoyles we should probably go ahead and just kill. Because otherwise they're going to be rather slow to run from. They're pretty fast monsters, which means that your ability to get away is impaired. But since there's only 2 gargoyles here, I think we can do this fast. And I got a lot of steps in before getting to the treasure chest, so I didn't want to reset. The 3,000 gold may not have been worth it. Alright, let's see what we get for wizards. We're hoping for 2. 3 wizards, we'll try it. Problem is we have to survive a lot of rounds without anybody dying here. Okay, you can one-shot him with just 2 tempers. Good to know. Ooh, boy, a lot of damage. A lot of damage. There's one down. Yeah, I don't want anybody dying here. Okay, let's try this with 2 wizards, see if that goes better. Hey, thanks, Safer. There we go. Nice. Okay, so he'll have 2 tempers on Ace here. That gives me 4 tempers for the Astos fight, which is more than plenty. Hey, yep, we're going to try 3 red mages here. It's definitely going to be slower in the early game. Like, it takes a while for this party to get started, but I'm hoping that this will pick up in the later game for a lot of the boss battles. Like, my ideal outcome is that I don't have to get as many levels for grinding in it, and so I'll be able to save time at Gurgur Volcano and also on the boss fights themselves. I got a large number of steps there. Let's see what we get. 3 scorpions. This is a really fast flea. I'll have to reset out of it. Okay. Even though I do have to menu right here, that's not bad. I probably should have taken the top path. The bat on the left-hand side is not that likely to get in my way. Go wrap around this again. I'll take the left-hand side this time through here because it's a little bit faster for the walking motion for it. I don't have to do as many turns. And when you're dashing, the PlayStation's got a little bit of lag for when your movement stops. You often see it as well when the character takes like one additional step after you release the D-pad. You'll sometimes see him also walk at a slower speed for that last step. That's why I try to avoid turning if I can. Let's see if we can get Astos down before, let's say, 32 minutes. "45 seconds of this was doing an extra 15 puzzle, and the rest of it is just either small amounts of RNG for the encounters or the difference in terms of how long it takes to kill things in the early game with the red mage replacing the second fighter. Man, I can't get walking anywhere going. Alright, 4 Grimps should be runnable. This is likely part of the Grimp Werewolf combo, but without the werewolves present, the average monster agility is much lower. build with more stylish clothes. He's got a nice hat. I don't know if the rest of his outfit is all that much of an improvement, but I do like the hat. It's pretty good. Alright, so the cursor is going to be down 1 for the memo save next time. That was far enough. I want to try it. One arachnid. Well, we're in for it. We need to recover some HP anyway. So I'm using a tent here, which is actually a cabin. So this is 60 HP recovery. It should get everybody back up to full. I don't want to save the game because this is a slower way of getting back to things. So I have to reset from here. So instead we're going to go cancel out of that and memo save like normal. Try to get up to the castle here. It's really close. Alright, made it. So we'll start Astos around 32 minutes. Yeah, it's could have been better. I realized I've got Ace in the front, which means he's most likely to be targeted by Rub than anybody. So we'll see if he either survives it or if Astos decides to rub somebody else. Decides to not go with the good plan. I actually have a pretty good chance of him doing something good for me. Because the 50% chance of targeting Ace, and then if he does target him, it's only a 60 or so % chance of killing him. So that should be like a 1 in 5 chance of us dying like that. Let's see if it happens like 10 times in a row or something crazy. Who knows, maybe they increased the power of Rub in this version. Alright, deciding to punch Dan instead. Perhaps a bad move. Pretty bad move for Astos. Moderately bad move, I would say. There's level 5 for everybody. We still can't castle it too, but it does move us one tier closer. That is the power of temper. Enough tempers and you can murder anything. Haste is more effective for the very first buff to use, and so that's why you'll see me still hasting. But temper is pretty important throughout this entire run. And because you can get it so early as well, it is a pretty big difference in terms of routing than you have on NES. Forker World. I'm going to give this a very brief shot at running. Okay, we got him. More inclined to peek at the monster formations right now because of needing experience. Level 5 is not really a good amount to go into Earth Cave with. So we need to have somewhere along the lines, probably around level 7 or so, before we go and fight Lich. We do have the vampire fight, which will help out for that. And other than that, there's not a lot of really good encounters along the way that are guaranteed. So I need to kind of look out for opportunities to snag a little bit of experience here and there. Too bad Temper doesn't work on NES. I mean, it would really unbalance the game. So if you had Temper working, then NES would be a much easier experience. Like, it's balanced around the fact that you don't have Temper. One of the big things we get with the level is that our red mages at level 6 should have 2 attacks per round with the silver sword. So snag another over here. Ogres are actually not that good to be fighting right now. Once you're at level 5, some of the more upgraded monsters are going to be a little bit more efficient in terms of kills, especially when you have, early silver swords like this. I don't think that they knew the spell didn't work, but the game is tested with what they have available. So if you weren't doing crazy amounts of damage with the temper spell, then the bosses were made easier as a result to fit that. And if you added temper to NES, the boss fights would be like trivial. Like you wouldn't have any problems at all with the later fiends or chaos. Hey Sherazad, welcome in. See if we can get a good walk here. Most of the monsters at this part, I guess wolves I probably should kill rather than try to run from because of their high speed. And also being rather easy monsters overall. Like I think this is a better stretch to go and try to power through than it is to go and do a bunch of resets for. Same thing with like around the dwarf cave area. The next trip, though, across the sea, I should probably still reset for that. Because of the Sahags as well as the Odd Eyes. Okay, Grimps might be a little bit faster. There we go. Alright, so it looks like level 5 you can pretty much run from everything in here. Not first try, then pretty quickly. Now we got our cutscene with Matoya. This was added in to draw extra attention to her little quest. I mean, I'm surprised that they didn't think people would think of talking to her. Because she's pretty much the only thing in here. Like, unless you thought the brooms were important for some reason, then Matoya is kind of like the obvious focal point of this little cave. So if you can find your way here, you can probably figure out what to do next. I guess the nice thing is that she introduces the quest storyline. If you're here the first time and you don't know about Marsh Cave or the Crown or the Crystal, it kind of introduces you to the idea that there is something to go off and look for. This wolf battle is really bad because of them being fast, and there's 5 of them, so it'd be at least 2 rounds of fighting. If we could kill 2 wolves with 1 hit, that would be actually helpful for things like that. Like retargeting in the middle of a series of attacks if it was a kill earlier on. Alright, there we go. And again, I'll take some memo saves across the ocean because of the slightly less convenient monsters going through there. Need to go down to Elfland next to continue on with the Mystic Key quest. I will not pick up the items at Elfland Castle. It's about 2,000... I guess technically 2,800 gold that I'm saving by going there. And I think it's better to just bypass it entirely. Okay, do I need to buy anything at Elfland? We should be good for right now. I'll go and take care of my item shopping when we get to Conaria, because that one's got a little bit more of a convenient item shop in it. Go ahead and wake up the elf prince, and that will get us the Mystic Key here. See, if anything, it'd be interesting to see if it's better to go and do the optional swords in Temple of Fiends. Those might be worth it, because it's like 7,000 gold, but I bet that's slower than doing another 15 puzzle. That's really the thing that changes with the 15 puzzle, is that a lot of the side trips, if you're not faster than a 15 puzzle getting 10,000 gold, that's pretty hard to overcome, because the 15 puzzle is only about 45 seconds. then you want to go ahead and do more 15 puzzles instead. Like I'm thinking even like basic stuff like going and picking up a lot of the money and treasure chests in dungeons. The 15 puzzle is actually coming out ahead into the late game when there's like, 10,000 gold per treasure chest. "15 puzzle is kind of busted. I think it's a little bit unbalanced, but it's nice having the rewards. I might like the GBA 15 puzzle a little bit better because it gives you items rather than money as its main focus. So you can get some pretty useful things that change how a limited set of battles are going to work, as opposed to money, which you can use for almost anything in the regular game. All right, so anything I want to grab here should be not. The only other item that I might want is a gauntlet for Ace, and that is located either in Elf Castle, which we skipped, or in Northwest Castle, Astos' Castle, which we're also going to skip. So I'll buy a gauntlet for... Actually, no, he'll be fine. He'll go gauntletless until we get to Crescent Lake, and I can get him the silver gear at that point. Stocked up potions. So nice. That's probably enough antidotes for the entire game. In fact, I might not even need like 35. That's more appropriate for like NES, where you don't have the ability to reset out of poisonous encounters. Like almost all of the antidotes you buy at the beginning are sucked up just from Marsh Caves. Let me go all the way up to here first. Thinking of Melmond ahead of time. I do want to have level 6 for Fire 2s. I found this out last time that fighting the vampire with physical attacks is actually pretty bad at this point, even with silver swords. He has a lot of physical defense and dodges a lot. So Fire 2 is a much better way to take him down. I just don't know if I'm going to have a good opportunity to get that level, though, in time. On how much more HP Dan has than anybody else. He got 2 more strong level ups than the other 2 red mages, which is pretty extraordinary at this point in the game to have, I think, almost every strong level up for all of his level ups so far. But I guess it's not that outrageous because level 2 is a guaranteed one, and level 3 and 4 are probably a 25% chance. Hey, King Kong, welcome in. We're just blowing open some canals here. I don't have level 6. What are my options? I guess housing outside of the Earth Cave so that I can go ahead and temper Ace might be the best choice. That's a tricky one, though, to decide if I want to do that. I guess I did use up all of my tempers between Astos and Marsh Cave, so it's not totally outrageous to say I would do that. That'd be a cottage for Vampire, a cottage for Lich. We'd have to see if we had enough money to buy some more for the Crescent Lake area or not. I only need 7,500 gold for items in there, which is a nice improvement with only 1 fighter. Dan wants to prove himself. I mean, he's got an opportunity to. I think Dan could do big things tonight. Assuming his HP keeps up. Go ahead and sell most of this stuff here. Mithril mail is important. We do get another cottage here. And I guess the tent's not nearly as good. I have a couple of those as well for HP recovery. That one was a bit of an idea that might not have worked out. I bought enough tents so I could probably have purchased one cottage instead. And I can't see myself using a lot of those tents throughout this entire run. There's just not enough opportunities where 60 HP makes a difference. Dan trying to cost me time in the Agama grind. Well, I do need a red mage for the late game. So we're going to have a fighter plus a red mage for the Lich fight. Because the bosses have double HP, you can't do a one-on-one battle nearly as easily. Same thing with Carrie for the battle in Gurgu Volcano. If it was just Ace by himself, he would need way more levels to be able to survive that. Carrie's got 1,200 hit points instead of 600. I'm trying to think about what it would take, like maybe like level 24 or something to be able to do that. Alright, once we get to Melmount, I'm going to have to go ahead and do a lot of saving because there's mostly nasty monsters in this walk over here. I've been taking advantage of the fact that around the inner sea area, a lot of the encounters I can either run from really quickly or that they're good experience, whereas these things, not so much. Tigers are going to just destroy the party. Shadows have like a 90% ambush rate. We have undead monsters. The only thing that's decent is that there's two formations with ogres in them. One's the Ogre-Groger combo, and the other one is Ogre Hyena. Either of which might be worth taking given the experience needs I have right now, which is why I'm peeking into the fights. It's like right here. Go give Dan some better gear. We got a few items at Dwarf Cave that we could start using. There we go. I guess only the silver armor and great helm. I was thinking Worm Killer would also be helpful, but since we already have silver swords, we actually have better weapons for everybody. Give us a chance to flee just in case it works out. Nice. That was good turn order. All 6 of those monsters have 3 attacks per round and paralyze. So you could very quickly get stun locked in that. And looks like we will not have level 6 for the vampire trip. So we're going to try vampire with temper strats, it looks like. And I'll have to cottage again so that I get fire 2 charges for Lich. Actually, no, Lich should be just temper as well. Having double HP, it's hard for Lich to go down with fire 2s. Even with 3 fire 2s per round, we'd have a long fight for it. Ooh, do I want the Coral Sword? That's 3,000 gold, which is pretty good. Ooh, this actually might be pretty good as well. I normally don't take Groger battles in the NES route because it's a really slow fight. But given that we do have these silver swords, I'm thinking that Ace should be able to one-shot them. He does not. Never mind. Bulls would probably be a better fight instead. Yeah, it's taking us 1 full round per Groger. That is just not fast enough for how much experience these things have. It would be a full round for a bull as well. And the bull would be quite a bit more. Hey, Rob Foof, welcome in. There we go. At least it's closer to level 6 now. I'll still be looking for a couple of good fights for it. Bulls and trolls are both good opportunities. Everything else here is not really worth fighting. Giants would be good experience, but they're actually pretty tough at this point. Luckily, they're very slow. It means it's not too hard to get away from them. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pick up the Coral Sword. Kind of debating this, but my thought is that the Coral Sword lets me buy 1 extra house at this point, which will come in handy. And I won't bother picking up anything else in here. Okay, double bull. Road mages are very inaccurate right now. Hey, Inzelt, welcome in. Because our red mages missed, we actually did not one round the bottom bull, and so this will be a 3-round battle now, unless one of the red mages gets very lucky with the critical. There we go. Okay, level 6 on everybody. Nothing else. We have a ton of cure spells to work with. That'll help save quite a few potions for the late game. And again, I'm not totally sold on picking Coral Sword. That might be something that's skippable, even in normal difficulty. Definitely on easy mode, you would skip it, because the items, spells cost so much less than in normal mode. Plus, you have bonus gold drops from all the monsters. Now, looking at the time, I'm wondering how this got so fast for getting through Earth Cave. I guess I've gotten pretty good luck with the encounters in here. So normally I have like 1 or 2 stretches where it's just like 10 resets in a row. Going and peeking at the fights has helped out a little bit, so the ones that I can actually take easily, I've been able to flee from instead of having to reset on. Like that one is a good example. Most of the stuff on this floor you would not want to even attempt to run from. Counter luck is a huge thing. It definitely is in the early part of the game. I think it's a little bit less so later on, because you're not even looking for specific encounters at the late game. It's more about just raw quantity, and that's a lot more likely to be evening out over time. Early game, you need certain encounters to be able to get experience, as well as to be able to run from things. Alright, vampire fight. I'm going to be using Tempers here because we don't have any Fire 2s to work with. If you had Fire 2, this is such an easy battle. But it's a lot harder with physical damage. Alright, there's 1 Temper. 2 Tempers. Alright, if Ace connect, we should be able to kill him. 3 Tempers. 1 Ace, go next. Not nearly as good. So close. Alright. We got him. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and grab my Star Ruby, and hopefully we get good encounter luck on the way out as well. Just making sure that I don't have to do as many battles as possible. So whether it's fleeing or resetting, that is usually preferable alternatives to trying to grind through things one fight at a time. Let's see what we get. Cockatrices. We technically could accept somebody being stoned, because I get gold needles from the 15 puzzle as a bonus reward. So I shouldn't have to buy any gold needles in this route. At least I know that happens on easy. I don't know if it actually happens on normal as well. I think it does. Pretty sure that did not save. There we go. Okay, Wizards, unrunnable battle. Those are our friends from the Marsh Cave. Actually, the same formation. So 2 to 4 Wizards, is the same data set for Marsh Cave as well as right there. When you go to Ice Cave, it bumps it up to 4 to 7 wizards, and that's certainly a lot, but by the time you're at Ice Cave, it is a lot less threatening to be able to take on that many. Ogre's a little bit of a better fight. And looking at my HP totals, Dan could survive Blizzara. That'll be interesting whether I go for Blizzara at level 6 here, if I try to get level 7 somewhere. I'm not sure where I would be getting the experience from. Like, there's not many fights in here that are going to be worth doing. And I guess Bulls and Trolls are my best option, but just really tough at this point. Like, having just a little bit more HP on the bottom two mages would make a big difference. 80 to 160 is the range for Ice 2. So it's not like they can't survive it. It's just that they're unlikely to without a lot of resets on it. Speaking of which, here's that bad encounter luck we were talking about earlier. Just trying to get out of here, hopefully around the 1 hour mark for exiting out of the dungeon. Four wizards. If it was 2 wizards, I would probably try to go for it, since that would be fairly easy to do in 1 or 2 rounds. But 4 wizards are going to do a lot of damage. Probably going to have somebody get killed off. Hey, Josh Brown, welcome in. Actually, mummies can go ahead and try to kill these 2. Just pick up a little bit of extra experience on the side. Hey, Xenon, welcome in. There we go. 150, though. Might not be worth it to do those mummies. Yep, this is a new idea to do 3 red mages instead of 2 fighters, 2 red mages. My other idea is to do fighter and 2 red mages as a way to get levels faster. That one also might be worth doing a run through to just kind of explore how it goes. Nice bulls. We're definitely doing a lot better killing them than we were on the way in. Right, Ace is only 121 down, so he'd be 1 HP short of being full if I used a cottage outside. But I'd like to avoid doing that because if we get a chance to get level 7, that would be more spell slots for the red mages. Four thieves. That would be terrible. Although in the remakes, the thieves are a little bit better than they were in the original game. And once you class change, they're okay-ish. In the remakes with ninjas, you would have the ability to get pretty decent weapons and armor. Running is actually useful, so that's, plus they do have better stats for that. And the temper spell working means that you can actually do decent damage with a thief character. Without temper, they just really have no way of getting high tier damage since they don't have Excalibur. Mazboon's not until very late in the game. I want to say there's another weapon that they can't use that's helpful that the knights can, but the armor and weapon difference is enough to make it a little bit tough in one of the already harder sections of the game overall. Right, there's another bull. We'll try to get one single shot out of here. I'm looking to be a little bit short of XP on it. 358. I can probably pick that up on the way down to Lich. I'm not going to get it in here unless something like this happens on the next step as well. So in this storyline, we're going to go ahead and get the Earth Rod from Sarda. And you can't get to Sarda until after you've gotten the Ruby from the Vampire. And that's actually checked in the game itself. So in NES, if you somehow could sequence break it and either walk through walls or otherwise violate the constraints of the game so that you got to Sarda before getting the Ruby, he actually would not give you the Rod. He changes his dialogue when the Vampire is killed. So that's actually a safety measure for checking it. I'm not sure that was totally intentional, but there's no reason they couldn't have made his conversation trigger not rely on that flag. Also, that was like a 101 exit. That's a little bit slower than I wanted, but still pretty much on pace with the other run. Actually, maybe I could have gotten a level from that. We're really close to level 7 right now. Is Final Fantasy 2 NES speedrun at all? Assuming you mean the Famicom version for that. And if so, there are people that do run the game. There is a glitch category, which is like most of the other early Final Fantasy glitches, not particularly fun to do the runs of. And then there are non-glitch categories taking advantage of how broken a lot of the spells and effects are, which I think look interesting. I've never tried them myself. I did do a speedrun of Final Fantasy 2 PSP, which is very different for the setup for it. But I imagine the Famicom version could have some interesting times on it, depending on what you enjoy with a speedrun. Let's give up on that one. We're going to get stuck in there pretty quickly. Alright. Against my better judgment, we'll take the Ogre Hyena fight, because this will be level 7. That means I can go ahead and just skip all the monsters in Earth Cave on the return trip. Turns out it was useful knowing exactly how much XP to next level. There we go. And I can go ahead and use my cottage now to get my spell charges back. We're not going to get another level before entering the cave. This won't get me all the way to full, though. So I will probably want a 10 outside of Earth Cave to top it off. I remember the times for Final Fantasy 2 not being super long. So, while it's not a 1-hour run, it's also not a 10-hour run. Oh, one tile away. So now I'm really motivated to sit through this 6 shadow battle, which is terrible. So I have to wait for all these monsters to go because they are going to have such a high chance of ambushing us. And successfully flee from them, which I think the shadows are not super fast, so we should be able to run. Here we go. Hey, Carlo, welcome in. All right, there we go. 1 Earth Rod. We'll take that over back to where we just left the Earth Cave, back in the Vampires area. And with our newly minted level 7, we have all the tools that we need to go and fight Lich at this point. I'm not going to bother with level 8, even though our HP totals on the red mages are kind of low. They'll be okay. Except for Cal. Cal's a goner. Actually, one difference between NES and the later remakes is I believe that they do make it easier for you to get your magic defense check passed on enemy spells. So maybe Blizzara will not get double damage on Cal, and he'll be able to survive that way. You wish they tooted the Emperor. It'd be interesting to see what viable real-time strats are like for that fight. It's one of the tougher ones because up until then you can pretty much cheese most of the enemies. But the Emperor fight actually has probably the Emperor going down relatively quickly, because I think he is possible to warp or exit out of the battle. And then you'd have the Golem to deal with, so maybe they get like some kind of fire source for that. Do extra damage. Golem's a really annoying monster to fight, the wood golem that accompanies the Emperor. Kind of a funny situation though. The big boss is the one that suffers from instant death, and then his flunkies are actually a harder fight in the end. I'm gonna go ahead and drop a 10 here for a little bit more HP recovery. I could potentially have been okay with just cure ones, but since multiple people needed healing, I think this comes out ahead over having to heal 4 people. Can you have a blood sword by that point? Yeah, you can definitely have a blood sword. But I imagine for a speedrun, you're not going to have a lot of HP to work with. And so if you had like bad turn order, you probably would still have a chance of dying. The blood sword basically makes it so that, assuming that you get your attacks in, then you'll be back up to full every round. But if they get 2 turns in a row, I could see that being an issue. I haven't seen a run of Final Fantasy II for a long time, so I can't say for certain. Getting batted here. Wasn't for those extra steps, but I had no worries with this Cobra fight. You love the leveling system from 2? What about the leveling system do you enjoy? Because it's not quite the same as the leveling system of, say, Final Fantasy V or Tactics, which are related in kind of spirit for it. So I'm wondering if you also enjoy those games as well. Because I don't need the experience, I'm not going to sit through a bull ambush. probably to take that on the way down. Wow, we are getting encounter on that step over and over again. And it's purely frame-based for when you do the movement, so there's no real way to manipulate encounters in this version. You will notice, though, that the encounter rates are quite a bit higher than the original, as well as because of the monsters being mixed up like this, where you can get any formation at any time. Still with the percentage chances, though, but there's no restrictions on what the order can be. You'll see a lot more of the unusual ones, because the 1 in 64s are going to come up more frequently. A Tarantula is probably not worth tackling. Just trying to get downstairs to go fight Lich here. I don't know why all these guys are giving me a hard time. Did I ever play Quest 64? I've never played it myself, but I have seen people play it. Actually, no, that's not true. I probably did play Quest 64, at least for a little bit. Quest 64 is very loosely an RPG. It is a rough game, though. Fastest Final Fantasy II is about 4.5 hours. I imagine that's closer to 4 hours when you think about US timing to the final boss instead of to the end credits. But that's still quite a bit longer than Final Fantasy I at this point. I mean, 4.5 hours sounds about right for Final Fantasy II, given its storyline is roughly the same length as FF1, but has more backtracking to do conversations and things. And then Final Fantasy III, I think, would also be around the same length. Final Fantasy III's got a much longer storyline, and especially if you're playing glitchless, so that you have to deal with the really tough final dungeon area. It would take a while to kind of get preparations ready for that. Gonna give up on running from this image fight. It says Wraith, but these are actually images. They renamed a lot of the monsters because of, well, I don't actually know why they renamed them. It doesn't make any sense to me. Technically, the NES version renamed them because these are the same as the original Japanese names and everything. That bat's going to the left, which should be good. Bat's not going to the left. We're here. We're going to go take the wizard fight. At this point, 2 wizards is not bad. You have a little bit more armor than you had back at Marsh Cave. A lot more hit points. And enough damage that the red mages can significantly help out with the fight as well. Well, that was a really slow second Earth Cave trip. This is probably not going to be a successful run. Oh, we got him. For some reason, the Ghoul and Geist fight, the monsters there are considered pretty fast. So around this level, you have a low chance of running. Yeah, the last stretch of FF3, like the last hour or so of the game, is really, really hard. It's a ridiculous jump up in difficulty. So you kind of have a good stretch for a while, which I think that just before you get into the final dungeon, it's a reasonable difficulty level for where you're going to be there at that point. And then they just make it so hard and so long that a lot of people really give up at that last bit. Let's go ahead and kill the troll. He should be fairly fast by himself, and this was a couple of steps of progress that I would otherwise have to lose. These battles are why we're losing time on the split already. On the 4th floor right now. We need to get down to the 5th floor to fight Lich. We'll get there eventually. Assuming the encounters let us. Those will not. Give this a shot. Images, again, are really hard to run from for some reason. I would imagine, well, that worked out. Imagine the undead would be super slow, but instead they made it so that they actually have a fairly large spread in terms of their speed overall. No, we made it far enough. I'm going to go ahead and have to kill the wizards again. There we go. That's actually really fast. At this point, I'm still not thinking about level 8. It's going to be just too far away for me to get a good shot at it. Although the number of things I've killed here is definitely a lot more than I planned for when I was doing my leveling beforehand. I probably could have gone in around level 6.5 and been just fine for getting the XP I needed. It's like not doing the ogre fight outside or things like that. Alright, one last place in here. Another image battle. I'll give it a second try just because we got so close to the stairs. Never mind. Not going to have anybody left to run. It's a giant werewolf pattern. Right, made it that time. Hey Turbo, welcome in. Go ahead, start healing everybody up. So this will save me having to do any potions because of how many red wizards we have for this. It'll be particularly nice once we have those cure 2s as well. The thief fixed in this version. The thief's a little bit better. Running is more important. He has temper when he turns into a ninja, so he has something useful to do for the round after his haste is done. The red mages lost a lot of HP, so the ninja is not as bad of a choice compared to a red wizard for the late game. So there's a lot of reasons why the thief got slightly improved. Alright, Ace jumping the gun here. We have 800 hit points to get through, so these tempers are essential for killing Lich. Alright, let's see if Cal lives or dies. Everybody lived. Wow, that was really low damage rolls. What the heck happened there? This is a world record party. If it beats these splits, then it'll be a world record party. Nice, not hit Ace, even though he was the highest chance of being targeted right there. I need Ace to not be put to sleep and not be paralyzed. Ace. So that means Lich is going to do another attack spell for his next spell. And while Ace could definitely survive that, Bill, Cal, and Dan are going to have a hard time with it. So I'm hoping that we'll get all the buffs off in time for this. Actually, no, you guys should probably do Fire 2s. We're close enough that Fire 2 might kill him. Nope, we didn't need him. Didn't need him. That was a lot of time lost overall. Surprised the Earth Cave was that bad, although maybe it was just we got super lucky on the vampire trip and then the luck evened out for the second half of it. His temper stack indefinitely. There is a cap in terms of your base damage, which is your strength score plus the weapon score plus all of your buffs. But since it's all of them combined, by doing enough tempers, for example, you can make a dagger hit for as hard as the Mazmune does. Like, once you reach the cap, it is universal across all weapons and across all character classes about what the attack power is. The only thing that varies is the critical hit rate and the number of attacks per round. So I guess in theory you could also max out the number of attacks per round by buffering your accuracy. Then it'd just be critical hit rate. We'll give him one chance to run and see if we get anything. Probably not. Once we have a couple people paralyzed as well, that fight goes very quickly to an undesirable place. And speaking of undesirable places, time for ordeals. So ordeals in Ice Cave I'm going to do with the normal pattern for ordeals first, picking up the Ice Brand as well as the gold bracelet there. I think I still want to get the Zeus gauntlets, although they're a little bit less important with 3 red mages like this. It's just that you're going by that stretch anyway, so it's very, very minor out of your way to go and grab them. Like, if worse comes to worse, I can go ahead and just raise some extra money by selling Zeus gauntlets. Maybe I'll be able to afford a an extra gold bracelet that way. If it wasn't for an ambush, I would have taken that. Ogres are at least a nice, easy run. Alright, we made it. Time to go to Crescent Lake here. And since we do have plenty of Bolt 2 charges, I don't have to worry about the Kawada creatures nearly as much. The one that I probably want to use Bolt 2 on is like anything with a Sahag in it. You know, now that I've been hearing it quite a bit, I'm actually not really minding this sailing tune at all. I guess it's just the airship theme that is a downgrade when they did the new soundtrack. And most songs are really, really improved by having the higher quality samples available. I know that there's a little bit of controversy about whether people like the old battle theme or the new battle theme, because that was one of the ones that did have a very big cult following for just the intro line to it. And it's a little bit different in the remake versions. That's good XP, but we don't have time to stick around. I just said we didn't have time. Quadruple Pede probably not going to end well. Oh, we got away. Nice. Pedes are one of the more dangerous monsters here. You wouldn't think about that from the NES playthrough because you're not going towards Crescent Lake at a time when there's a lot of Pedes around. Instead, it's mostly trolls and bulls that you see instead. Or if you are behind on your steps, you'll see cobras like these snakes here and scorpions. I don't remember if it's a cobra-scorpion group or just cobras by themselves. But that's a sign that you were at Crescent Lake too long on NES. Do I prefer running this version or the NES more? I mean, they're very different speedruns overall. NES is a lot more of a technical speedrun, where you are doing a lot in terms of routing and preparation, having to make decisions based on things that happen in battle, whereas the later remakes they do have a lot of routing involved, because you're still trying to get through the game with a minimum number of encounters and pickups and things, and so you can kind of think about different ways to make that work out. Actually, let's go and triple fire 2 these things. But it's not quite the same strategy aspect as the NES had. NES does not seem very forgiving. That is correct. The NES is not at all forgiving for any mistakes, or even playing perfectly. It still is a very mean game. Okay, I should have plenty of money now for buying Ace's silver gear. I don't think I need any other items at this point. So let's go ahead and just get you a shield. No, we're not going to get bucklers. I thought about it, and it's like, nah, the red mages should be fine. 2 absorb difference is not going to be a really big deal at this point. Okay, we have 3 houses left, so we're fine for right now on houses. I'll need to use 1 here, 1 for the ice cave, and then we'll be back in the town again after that, because after ice cave I go and get the airship and come back to places where they're going to have houses available for sale. This time also the world record, yes. So PlayStation normal, I've got the world record on this run as well, but this one's not really a competitive one, because most people for PlayStation play on easy instead. And easy and normal are completely different games. Unfortunately, we can't deal with anybody dying at this point. There are no clinics where we're going. And we're not going to have the life spell until after class change. White Mage can get the life spell early, which is an interesting thing to toss around. Like whether that would help out with any of the routes to have a life spell for certain sections. But I think that you still have to get level 12 to be able to cast it. Oh man, there goes Bill again. And level 12 you're not going to see until Gurgru Volcano anyway, so probably doesn't actually help you at all for the way that most of the NES routes go. Might be better to kill these things rather than try to run. They don't have a ton of hit points, but the reason I wanted to run is because they've got very high evasion, so I wasn't really expecting the red mages to do a good job. Sail around the marsh cave here, and they'll set us up for lining where I want to be for the turn down to ordeals here. So you need to turn in a way that you can see where the little peninsula jutting out for ordeals is going to be. Otherwise, it's almost impossible to navigate around that corner blind. And so I use marsh cave as a reference point to know when to make the curve down. And yes, it's especially important because if you're on a step route, then you can't afford to have any mistakes, even with the sailing ship, which is going at a much faster speed. So technically, I have, I want to say 6 steps of mistakes I could make there. So a little bit out of the way on the ship would still be okay. And of course, on this version, everything is 1 step at a time, which is why I'm going to go ahead and save a whole bunch going down here. And there's no fights around ordeals that'd be worth taking. There we go, we made it. Hey, Llama Pals, welcome in. What? You really are a pal with a llama. You should bring your llama in sometime. Introduce the llama to everybody. Alright, what do I want to do in ordeals? Like, is there anything that would be worthwhile And I guess if I got a good Zombie D pack or a good Zombool pack, I would be thinking about it. Whiz Mummies are actually pretty tough here because of the sleep status not immediately wearing off. And instead, I believe it's 50-50 each round. So one person getting put to sleep, it's not like they're going to come back and be able to go and immediately fire 2 the next round. We'll go run from the Man-Cats, even though they only have fire 1. Still probably not worth our time. Hey, that did not curve correctly. There we go. Here's one of the long stretches. Go ahead and memo for that. This is where I get the Zombools and the NES version. This is also where so much of the planning went into for setting up the encounters. Ordeals was one of the earliest dungeons I tried to route out to get rid of bad stuff. Otherwise, you've got no shot of getting through here. Ice Cave was actually a lot easier initially because in the very early days of the marathon route, it was actually level 12 that I did the grinding to by going over to Peninsula of Power. That's actually what I did still for the RPG Limit Break run back in 2015 for it. And at level 12, the Ice Cave is a lot friendlier. Like a lot of the undead monsters, you don't really have the same difficulty dealing with some of the attacks on it. Like Frost Giants, Frost Wolves are no problem. Most of the Wraith encounters are fine because you can go ahead and get damaged quite a bit and still run away. And with a higher level, you also have a higher chance of running from those fights. Speaking of which, I'm hoping to get a run from this guy. Which is not going to work if we have a ambush. Like a preemptive would be wonderful here. Well, we'll try it. These things are really fast, though. I say that, and then, of course, we get away the first try. It's hard to run from those things at, like, level 20. So, I guess we just got really, really lucky with that flee attempt. Unfortunately, you can't really fight the nightmares effectively until you have this ice sword here. I do not have the ice brand or any other ice weapons up until this point. Or ice spells, for that matter. We didn't buy Ice 1 back at Provoca. See what we got. Mind Flayers, nice. Who wants some sorcerers? Not me. Sorcerers are one of the deadliest enemies overall. Especially in the NES version because of probably a bug in how status elements were implemented. Monster attacks have associated with them an element, which allows you to decide whether or not you can block the status element that the monster can inflict. And most monsters do have an element that you can do. That's why having the ice shield actually makes it so that in the ice cave you no longer get paralyzed nearly as often. But the sorcerer's physical attack has no element. And the way the game's code works is that if you have no element, then there's nothing that will resist it. So ribbons and pro rings and so on are not effective, even though it seems like an instant death move. You can block it with magic defense, but at the levels that we're going to be at, that's a really low odds. That is not a zombie D. One step away from the boss fight. There we go. With 3 fire 2s per round. This guy's not really scary. I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to go for a second zombie D fight as well. It's because we probably need a little bit... Oh, we got a level. Never mind. Never mind. I was going to say we need a little bit of experience to get level 9 before we go into the ice cave, but we just got it right there. But level 9 is still pretty scary for what's coming up for us. Let's go ahead and just cottage. There's my spell charges back. And if we get damaged, I can 10 up right before we reach the ice cave itself. Anything around ordeals is pretty bad news, even with another couple of levels. So, like, level 15 is about where the ordeals area starts becoming more manageable. And I suspect from how the storyline is designed that they were kind of anticipating, like, level 20 or so for when people would be uncovering that place. Oh, we're level 8, not 9? I thought we were level 8 already. Well, we're not getting another level from a few extra zombie Ds. We'll have to wait until we get to Ice Cave to see if there's any experience that's worth getting. See, do I want anything from Elfland? I don't think so. We can't cast the spells. We don't need the item shop, so I would probably just say skip it. Oh, I don't want to go and do this, so you were gonna just go ahead and use gauntlets. There we go. I need somebody to gauntlet just in case the party fails to run, and then the odd eye started paralyzing people. Now that we do have the gauntlets, I don't have to worry nearly as much though about the aquatic counters here. Just like go right through them all. So we sail over to Ice Cave, uninterrupted. And yes, it does benefit from having a couple of particular spells, especially Ice 2 for the eye fight. However, here I'm not planning to use anything like that. The eye straight up for a fight is better to do with the silver swords. Or I guess Ice Brand and Flame Sword is going to be our two main damage dealers. And once we have a level or two from the eye fight, then we'll be doing enough damage that I don't have to worry nearly as much about the encounters there. Well, I'm not totally certain about whether or not I should take a bunch of eyes. I've been doing eye fights up to like level 11 or so. The eye has Bolt 2, kind of inconvenient, but he does give you more experience per battle than an Agama does. So I can go back and forth about whether or not it's better to do eye fights or to do Agamas early on for grinding. That's actually a lucky run. Alright, I will still take that. I'm going to have to tent before going into the ice cave, otherwise it's slower to do the equivalent amount of potions in there, but still not terrible for the start. See if we can make it all the way to the land. Yep, we did. And again, I'm only tinting because this is faster than using, I think, 6 potions to get everybody back up to full. Well, maybe whoever's in the back is not going to be quite full, but it should be close on everybody. Now starts one of the scariest stretches of the entire game. At least in the later parts, even though you do have to do similar types of strats for very short pauses between every save. You're unlikely to be instantly wiped out like you are here. Like Temple of Fiends, I mean, I guess the Frost Dragons could actually wipe the party at the levels that we go in there if they get, 8 Blizzard Breaths off before we can take a turn. Ooh, 7 Wizards, sorry. Miscount it. Like the Ice Cave music. Ice Cave has the same music as Dwarf Cave, so I will appreciate it at its original version, but when I get here, it's usually a little bit too hectic for me to focus on the music. Almost. No. Not gonna do it. Even though that was a lot of steps before the encounter. Wizard's just too slow. There we go. Alright, this should have been a Frost Giant Frostwolf battle, because I don't think there's anything else where Frost Giants would appear on this floor. So I'm going to treat this as an unrunnable fight. Yeah, this song is also used for a couple of the other cave locations as well. There's not that many songs on the original soundtrack, so you'll notice that there's quite a bit of reuse between different areas. Later games, like pretty much every place you go is custom music. And that means that when you look at the soundtracks, you're like 3-4 CDs, hundreds of songs overall. I don't think we can lose Dan at this point. Dan's a vital member of my party, and I would never go anywhere without him. You know, interestingly, the Flame Sword's not quite as important right here, but I'm still going to go pick it up. Gives me a little bit more damage for one of the red mages. Ooh, nice preemptive. We're out of there. Oh, almost. I got greedy. So these are race, so let's see how fast they are. Evidently not very fast. I should save when I drop down, not beforehand. There we go. Alright, Trap Tile time. Trap Tile is pretty bad, but we have plenty of Fire 2s to work with. Alright, we had plenty of Fire 2s, now we're only going to have one. That should kill all the front monsters. The Spectre is the one that's less likely to die, but we got them all. So we're good. Trying to think about what else I should do on pass number 1. I think I'm going to go for my strat that I've been doing, which is kill the eye first, maybe more than once, and then go and pick up the items downstairs. So we have the Frost Armor, less important in this playthrough, because there's only one fighter this time, and Red Wizards cannot use it. Ninjas could, so if I had a thief in the party, I would think about getting the Frost Armor anyway. The other thing is 40,000 gold. Actually, let's... Now that I think about it, there's not really a strong reason to do it in the other order. The only monster that I would think about fighting is a Frost Giant Frostwolf combo with just the Frost Giants, and I might as well get them now. That way I might have an extra level before the eye fight. There's Greg Peed, rarely seen outside of his waterfall location. Even though this is a bit of a detour, I think it is still good to get the money in here because it is 40,000. Like 20,000 at Cardia also has an encounter that I have to worry about outside, so it's not like it's a super fast improvement. And the money is going to be used for buying pro rings in the bottle. So I definitely still need to have a pretty good stash of money in the late game, as well as likely needing extra life and cure 3 spells for everybody. Trying to think, if I got warp for everybody, would that help out? I could use warp where if I had an extra copy of it. I guess they want 3 for the waterfall, so if everybody's level 15, I could still do a very efficient trip through there. Hey, Zetzer. What encounter rate is Greg Pete? I don't think he's actually that rare. He is in the marathon route, going to show up if you have 1 extra encounter on that floor. He might be the 3 in 64, but it's not like it's a super rare fight. It's just that the stretch that I go through the bottom floor is kind of timed to have certain encounters. Like, I don't want to have any of the mage encounters. Those are the guys that cast Fire 3 at the start. I don't want to have any sorcerers. I don't want to have any frosties. That probably knocks out a lot of the more rare formations overall. I missed my wonderful B1 with nothing but an Narbone fight. Bloody Bones here is the best encounter you can get. We got him! Nice. Just have to speak his name and he shows up. Never remember getting repeats. Maybe they are the 3 in 64. I mean, I know that they're nearby in the encounter cycle, but that just means that they're not the 1 in 64. The 1 in 64 would never come up in the marathon route because you have to get really far past Power On to ever see those things. Alright, optimize. Oops. And I fight number 1. See what we get. Hopefully no Bolt 2s. That's what I hope not to see, I. You're not following directions here. Well, we do not do a lot of damage on this thing. Okay, gaze is fine. That's just a minor amount of damage. They replaced the eye's dangerous gaze attacks with a really, really weak one at the start. Means he's not very much of a threat. Unless he does just pure up damage. There we go. 1 floater obtained. Let's see if we can get a couple more eyes before I head on. I would like to have more levels before going into the start of Gurgur Volcano. With only 1 fighter, it'd be great to have him at level 11 so he does 3 attacks per round at the beginning. Oh, man. Technically, we don't need hit points. Technically. There we go, we got a level. Level 9, though. You're so underpowered in this. You always wanted to see PSX glitchless. I mean, there's not really glitches in PlayStation version. It's PlayStation Portable that's super glitchy. I really want to get some more eye fights, but he's doing too many Bolt 2s for me to be comfortable with it. We do have a couple of cure ones left. Make sure we have enough HP to survive a gaze attack if he uses it. Twitch looks better. In what way does it look better? Is it the stream or the interface? Oh, the armor do big glitch. Yeah, that's the PlayStation Portable version. PlayStation Portable is similar to GBA in mechanics, but it has lower encounter rates so that you can get through the game very quickly, even if you didn't abuse the equipment glitch. Alright, we should be able to get level 10 here before I go. Trying not to use any potions up. I don't know, maybe this is slower than Agama's just because of the Bolt 2 attack. My thinking was that the Agamas at the start are going to do a lot of damage, and if I run out of potions at Guru Volcano, then I have to stop grinding wherever we are. It's like there's just nothing you can do to make that get stretched out. So it's nice having a little bit of a head start going in there. We have to do another one for level 10. Easy mode, we'd be at like level 15 by now. Maybe higher. It's ridiculous how much faster the game goes with double experience. Alright, that's fine. Alright, there we go, level 10. See what we have for the Trap Tile Part 2. Another giant group of monsters. Maybe Ace should also use like the gauntlets or something just to increase the amount of damage we can do here. Fire 2 though is a really good spell for this group. There's half of them down. There's most of Dan down as well. Looks like Dan's going to be at 1 HP after going through the Trap Tile sections, but the Trap Tile won't kill you, so that's perfectly okay. Grig Pede will kill you. Grig Pede doesn't care. Alright, we at least got through that Wraith encounter. So how does the NES routing compare to this? NES routing is going to be totally different because this version does not have encounter manipulation. That impacts quite a lot. Also, this version has the bugs fixed, so things like temper work and things like running don't, where they work a little less in your favor. Nice. Frost Dragon, that also does not work in your favor. And then one last change to balance the game getting easier with the bugs fixed. They buffed the bosses by a lot. So the bosses are going to have way more HP than they did in the NES version. Most of the bosses are going to have double HP. I think there are some with more than double, but I have to go and look at it every time to remember. Hey, Bricio, welcome in. Almost got to the canoe. Was saving my my save for getting into the canoe so that I didn't have to do the transition more than once between the different vehicle types. There's a bit of lag in this game when you go between vehicles. Is Chaos more than double? No, he goes from 2000 NES to 4000 in this version. Later versions buff him more, like GBA's got him at 20,000. So he's a really big difference in that one. Also, GBA increases his spell damage. That's why for Game Boy Advance, I have to get way more levels. And I also use a white mage so that we can heal ourselves during the Chaos fight. You either need the white mage or you need to have Mega Elixirs to realistically do that. Hey, Monkey Breath, welcome in. And these enemy ambushes don't even get a chance to go and try to run. That's a pretty good series of steps. Now in NES, the encounter rate between Overworld and Canoe is the same. I feel like the Canoe has a lower encounter rate than the Overworld. but it could just be my imagination. There's so many things that are different about it that it's hard to kind of gauge exactly what the true percentages are like. There we go, into our boat. And once I'm on the boat, I don't worry about the encounters anymore, so we can just go ahead, flee, and gauntlets if we need to. At this point, because we've got another couple of levels, things like Sahags should no longer be fast enough to prevent us from running. And so the next time I have to worry about a fight is going to be on the land area around the floater. So there are things like giants and a couple other monster types there that could do some damage, although nothing that would really seriously threaten the party. The area around the airship is... See, what is the closest analog to that? I'm trying to think about what else has similar encounter formations overall. It's a little bit different than the formations around, say, Ice Cave and so on. Those are actually weaker than the desert down here. There we go, we made it. And there we go, one floater as well. So we have our airship now. The Lycion Desert. I don't remember if they ever mention what the names of some of these places are in the game itself for the NES. I think in the maps that they provide with the game, they provided more info than what was inside the game, but it could be like random NPCs somewhere tell you what this desert as well as the desert around Mirage Tower are called. And while I think that you do have safe steps, one of the few areas where safe scores remain, I'm going to save anyway. Make sure I don't get an encounter in the desert after having that cutscene. I know the area around Corneria no longer has safe squares. That's a surprising one, given that right in the vicinity of the castle, it's very frustrating, I'm sure, for new players to die before making it home if they had a really beat-up party there. So it was nice in the NES version having a lot of safe squares nearby where the town was. Here we go, Bob Escape, time to get attached. Hope everybody's attached to this run. I'm pretty certain we're going to get to Chaos tonight. You like the name Floater more than Livingstone? The one that I really dislike about the name changes, of course, is the slab. The slab was so good, but it's Rosetta Stone in the other versions. Just not nearly as evocative of what you're hauling around there. 2 attached to this run, wow. Never can get 2 attached. Just increase your attachment even further, and it will overflow. Buy my own gold, 120,000 here. In this version, I should get the 20,000 before I go on. Easy mode would not be a problem with this gold amount because you would be paying a lot less for the bottle and for the spells. Let's see if we can get away from these things. Ochos are really annoying. They're ambushing me and they're poisonous, so I probably have to menu up after that. Try that walk again. This 20,000 used to be in the marathon route as well until I got a change to no longer get pro rings for everybody. Instead, we skip 1 pro ring and replace that with an opal gauntlet. Doesn't work in this route because we only have 1 fighter. Doing the 3 red mages for everybody that was looking for the red mage groups. Surprised that the black mage is not more popular. I know that in general, people seem to like black mages a lot. They're one of the more popular classes for Final Fantasy. Black mages and white mages both getting a lot more screen time than red mages. I will take a bottle. Okay, we were good on those, and those. All right, nice. I don't need to buy anything else. The vendor here sells healing potions, antidotes, and gold needles. It's a really weird mix. There's nowhere else in the game that has that combination, so they did custom make that shop. My 4 pro rings. Go ahead and optimize those up. Try to think about anything else I want to buy at this point. So coming out of Gurgu Volcano, I will go and get the rest of the stuff. Actually, what I should do is buy some more cottages at this point. I'll have enough money for all my Melmond spells. I don't really have to worry about those too much. Get rid of the gloves, shield. Get rid of that and that and that. And let's get rid of the tents at this point and just stock up on cottages for a little bit. I'll get more cottages later on when I know exactly how much gold I have to play with. I don't want to make sure that anything is missed for post-Gurgu buying. But we have plenty of Agamas to fight, and those are worth a lot of cash, so I'm trying to imagine how it would go wrong. I got 3 warp spells. That's 24,000. I don't need to get Life or Cure 3 until after Waterfall and Sea Shrine are done. Although at 48,000 for that, I might need to get all the treasure chests in the Waterfall instead of just the one on the left. There we go. Oxiel is ours. What do I want to grab here? I need to get haste, so let's go on down to Elfland. Probably should have done the top route to it. I'll have to come back here as well, because we can't get Cure 2 yet for our knight. Actually, you know what? We can. What am I thinking? We've done class change. Never mind. I did something silly. There's haste, haste. Oh, we're out of money. That's the silly thing. Well, 2 haste is enough. We don't need Cure 2 yet anyway. That is the silly thing I did. So I should have saved more money for spells at that point. But we'll be fine. So evidently I needed to save for 12,000, 18,000 to have enough money for all the spells. Haste is the one important one because I need that for the carry fight. The rest of it is more for later so that I didn't have to do a second trip to Elfland. But once there is anything you have to come back for, you might as well stop right there. I'm not in the mood for you, Pede. This floor I usually get an encounter on. There's a lot of tiles in here that are not safe squares because the lava is actually not that thickly distributed throughout there. The next floor, though, the next floor is glorious. Okay, fire hydrant going, and munching on Bill is not a problem. Blaze is more annoying, though. Only Ace has resistance to fire, so that would do a lot of damage. And I need to keep the mages alive for a little while so that, at least for the first couple of rounds, they can go and help on the Agma fights. This shouldn't be unrunnable. There is a formation with Ogre Mages that's unrunnable, but I want to say that's not this one. This one should be the Ogre Mages by themselves. Oh, we're not getting away. Maybe that is the unrunnable one. Usually the unrunnable has a Cerberus in it. Alright, so thinking back to it, since I don't have the Cure 2s, that's probably going to cost me about 20 potions to start with, and I was already a little bit worried about my potions overall. So I will definitely have to play it a bit safe here on the grind section. I will grab the... Actually, do I even need the Ice Brand and Flame Shield? I probably don't. Skipping those would save me time walking over there, and I can go right down to the Agmas downstairs. It will take a while to get the Agmas initially, because you can see here we're not doing enough damage really to get through the encounters quickly. At level 11, Ace will do way more damage with the Ice Sword, and that's not going to be the same case for the Red Mages, so I think leaving them with Flame Sword as their best option is not too much of a downgrade. Alright, good enough right now. I will be killing 2 of the Red Mages off so the leveling goes faster. This is also a bit of an experiment. I've been usually doing that at a higher level overall. So we'll see with Bill and Cal dying much earlier, whether or not that has any problems for the late game. Alright, see you later, Cal. Good. I didn't want Bill to die there quite yet, because he hasn't used his cure spells. It'd be a bit of a waste if he died at that point. Here we go, start of Agma grind. With 2 characters alive, I probably want to get Dan to 16 so that he has 2 casts of Warp when we get to Waterfall. Although ideally he would have... Ooh, how would I get 3? That would probably take another mage living through it. Maybe Bill will be close enough that we can get it there, although I'm going to doubt that given that he's already close to death and only level 10. See you later, Bill. Now we're going to get double experience compared to normal. That'll really help out for how fast this grind goes. Hoping that most of the attacks land on Ace. Dan does not have fire resistance, so he does take extra damage from Blaze, as well as a lot of damage from the Agma's Bite, although Dan does have the best armor we have, which was the gold bracelet that we picked up back at Ordeals. Dan's kind of a helper. He tries to help with the Agmas. That's actually not bad. You can see how much more effective it is with those 3 hits than it was at the start of this. Also, in this version, because the elemental resistances were fixed for weapons, the Agma is taking extra damage from that Ice Brand compared to normal. So that is significantly boosting Ace's damage output at this point. Otherwise, he'd probably be hitting for like around 130 average. What are these? The Agma's going incognito right now. trying to keep their names out of the press. It's not working really well. You love the Agama grind. Everybody loves the Agama grind. Agamas and potions, the two most exciting parts of any Final Fantasy speedrun. Although sadly in the GBA version, because you can deal with the eye much more easily, you grind on the eye for all of your experience. Like you have Phoenix Downs and you can heal really rapidly. So there's not the penalty of getting hit with Bolt 2. You can more or less just turbo through it and heal up really quickly after the eye attacks. Whereas in PSX, healing is so slow that Bolt 2 is like a reset for that fight. And you lose a lot more eye battles as a result. This Agama's ordinary. I don't know how he ambushed us. We're standing right next to each other, and we just walk over from Agama to Agama, so how we get surprised in this, I don't really understand it. Like, I understand the Agamas are taking a nap. They're, like, waiting for us to finish the other one, not really looking. But we should be realizing that it's time for the next Agama battle to go. There's another level. I think that's 15 right there. I want to go a little bit beyond that, though, because we need 2 casts of warp for Dan to help us with backtracking in the Sea Shrine. I'd love to have 3, but that is level 18 for the 3rd charge. Dan, unfortunately, not doing all that well with HP since we've separated the rest of the party. He was chosen as our lead red mage because he did have the highest HP growth up through the ice cave. And HP is important here. I needed to take a red mage into the Lich fight for Lich 2. And so he has to be able to survive a nuke. And at 262, he's not going to do it very easily. He should be around 350 or so by the end of the game. There's another level. Let's go take the bottom one. I'm going to go heal up Dan at this point. We actually have plenty of heal potions. I'm surprised that we are not going through them more rapidly, but I guess we're doing enough damage that the Agamas are very frequently not getting any turns at all or just doing minor damage per round. Oh, only level 14. Never mind. I thought that was 15. That explains some things. So I will need to get 2 more levels worth of Agamas. It looks like we're going to lose time on the split. Overall, I'm trying to think about where we would have lost time. I guess coming into this dungeon, we had less XP than normal. So I probably took longer to get started. I know post-eye, it was longer to go and get the remaining eye battles that I wanted to pick up. So that we would have, what was it, level 10 at the start of this instead of going in at level 9. So maybe that's something I could think about for next time. Because turns out potions are not really that constrained. Maybe I could have come in here at 9 and done just fine with the Agma grind. That way I would not have had to do any extra eye fights. Actually, Ice Cave is particularly surprising because we didn't bother picking up Frost Armor. And that's something that does take a little bit of time to go up to the northwest corner of the bottom floor, deal with the Frost Dragon encounter, and be able to pick it up after that. Although if you get lucky on the Frost Dragons, I guess that's only about a 30-45 second trip up there. A lot of the tiles going over to that side are trap tiles, so while you're taking 1 damage, you're not going to have any encounters, random encounters doing it. And so really it's just the Frost Dragons that I guess you have to deal with. Hopefully it's only about 2 more Agmas or so we can finish up. Again, though, that's actually pretty fast overall for this grind section. Which does make me favor coming here a little bit earlier. I was kind of expecting Ace to need more help, but with the Frost Brand, maybe if we got another Frost Brand for Dan as well, we'd be doing enough Agma damage per round that it'd be 2 rounders even at the beginning. Agma strikes first. What a disappointing Agma. And the Blaze. Although I guess on average, Blaze is actually doing less damage than the physical attacks. Ace is pretty much never going to take a lot of damage from Blaze because he does have fire resistance. And the physical attacks, Dan definitely takes a lot with his worst armor overall. The Agma gets a critical, or if just a high roll against the gold bracelet. That's more than what a Blaze attack's going to do. There we go, leveled up. That should be level 16 now. Let's head on down. Dan didn't really win the HP lottery there, but 320 at 16 is not the end of the world. He will probably hit level 18 before the end of the game, and that gives him 2 more opportunities for strong level ups. He needs at least 1 of them to be competitive. 2 would be really good. I can't believe you guys can't run. At this point, we should have a very high chance of running against basic enemies like bulls. I could believe that more for some of the more difficult encounters in here. But the bulls were a monster that were back at Earth Cave, so we should be outspeeding them pretty quickly. Let's try that again. This time I got more steps, so I definitely want to persist in this battle. There we go. Alright, and heal up to full. The purpose of Dan here is to start off with haste, so that Ace does double damage, and then switch on to tempers. Without that, you'd have a really hard time with carry at this level. Still going to be really hard, because we do not have the Frost Armor, which means that physical attacks on Ace are going to do more than I've been seeing in previous playthroughs. There we go, there's the haste. You have to be at least level 8 for that to be available to you. Whew, boy, that's a lot of damage. Okay, with temper. It's okay if Dan dies during this, but we do need to have Ace buffed up. This is not so good. Okay, that's more. Frostbrand is not doing extra damage because Carrie is actually not weak to ice. Fog is probably not a problem. I don't think Dark actually does anything. Yeah, that was a significant reduction, but it was not very consistent. So we got a 2 attack round and then another 6 attack round. And 6 is the max that we can get attack-wise. Okay, we're close enough that I don't think more tempers are going to help. There she goes. Alright, so second of the 4 fiends is down. 221 though, a little bit disappointing. I was hoping with 3 red mages that the second half would be faster, and it's going to be tough to overcome that big of a deficit. We should pick up Time and Sea Shrine, because I'll be doing warps, whereas, was it this one or was it the easy mode playthrough? It was probably this one that I wasn't able to warp in the previous one. Easy mode should have had, 1,000 spell charges by that point in the game. Like how everybody celebrates, even though Ace and Dan did all the work. Bill and Cal just claiming unwarranted credit for that kill. Alright, now back to Elfland. There we go. So with the money I've just picked up from all those Agamas, we can go ahead and get our white magic spells, we can get everybody revived, and we will finish getting the rest of our haste spells as well. Now, good thing we don't need warp on everybody else, I would be actually out of money. There's one bill back. It would be kind of neat to go through the rest of the game with just 2 characters, although I don't think it would be faster. It's nice having those buffs available. Despite Bill and Cal being much more fragile than Ace and Dan are going to be, you do want to have at least the opportunity to go and drop the buffs in. Okay, let's go ahead and pick up this shop so that we can get our potions refilled. Cottages are not a problem. We should have enough to get through Waterfall and get to Sea Shrine. There's plenty of shopping I can do once we reach Ironrack. Okay, you get haste. We're not going to get ice 2 for everybody. Not enough money, and also really not that big of a difference maker in the late game. The nice thing about ice 2 is if you want to go and try to kill off some of the monsters in Mirage Tower area, like especially the Nightmare fights or the Chimeras. But I haven't had much success really being able to exploit those. Alright, and we'll go ahead and get warp for you. There we go. Alright, let's go and drop a cabin here. We're going to need to double cottage because we have a lot of HP to recover, but I can probably do the second one as we get outside of the waterfall instead of beforehand. And I do the waterfall first because it does have some good items in it. The Defender's Sword is a pretty big upgrade over the Ice Brand at this point. You also get a ribbon, and the ribbon has a few spots in Sea Shrine where it's helpful, but not like a lot. So it's nice if you have the Naga fight for the Lit 2 resistance, but generally in Sea Shrine, a lot of the monsters there are more physical oriented than magic oriented or status based. So it's actually one of the least useful items, but you know, right now the red mages only have a leather cap on anyway, so they're not really going to have a downgrade for having ribbon on. The fighter, on the other hand, if you had a ribbon on, that would be a pretty big decrease compared to his other helmets that are available. We're probably not wanting to do nightmares. I could think about taking mummy fights, because I can just blast them with lots of fire 2s. We don't want these things as well, but we should be able to run from them. And Pro Ring gives me resistance to their death attack. There we go. Golems are pretty slow. That was a maybe mummy fight. 2 whiz mummies is good experience, but not enough regular mummies to give me a free half agama on top of them. Basically, a whiz mummy is a half agama. And with enough regular mummies, you'll get another half. So it's a 1.5 agama fight. Okay, not like this guy haste it. Two hits is going to be a fatal blow. And the clinic, I guess the clinic in Onrak is actually not that far out of the way. It'd be a little bit to the right of where I want to go normally for going down to the Sea Shrine, but it's not outrageously in the back like, say, the Elfland item shop. Or the Onrak Inn, for that matter. Alright, that's worth doing. Assuming we don't get put to sleep, then we'll get a pretty good amount of experience here with a fairly fast battle. We just need Bill, Cal, and Dan to go Fire 2. Good start. Those versions before Fire 2 and other spells had a big adjustment based on your intelligence stats, so Dan's not going to do tremendously more, but that just means that Bill and Cal can actually be helpful during some of these fights. And so far we haven't seen them, but the one thing you really don't want here is gas dragons. That's the 1 in 64 encounter. They're unrunnable, they do tons of damage, and ice is their only weakness, so I have really no effective way of killing them. Although I think it might only be 1 gas dragon in this formation, so I could probably kill it if I had really good turn order. You know, put some tempers or a haste on Ace, and then have him swing with the ice sword. Interesting that the clay golems cast haste. Yeah, the monsters here are directly based off of Dungeons & Dragons, so it's not a coincidence. They are intentionally doing pretty much the same thing for moves and stats a lot of times. Also, for some reason, this formation, which in NES gives you a fairly good mix of mummies as well, is almost always jerkbirds. Alright, if we lost all of our chances to run there, then I'm just going to reset. There we go. At least we get a couple mummies that time. That reduces the number of petrifications per round. Does, though, introduce sleeps. Okay, Ace being down is really bad because he's my probably fastest character right now. This is surprisingly tough for a trap tile. Usually it's first try getting through here. Very rarely having to do 1 reset. Very unusual to have to do multiple. I guess I can try bolting them. You lucked out there having Bill go early in, because that'll kill all of the cockatrices. Or at least a good number of them. There we go. And 1 warp cube obtained. I'm going to save here because that was a good fight plus the cutscene for the robot. And we'll go pick up the Defender ribbon and also the cash in between. Good. Got everything I wanted. 3-red mages. Yes, this is a new route. I'm trying it out. It hasn't gone as well as I hoped. I was expecting to have a bit more of a time savings at the earlier parts of it, but it could still be good later on because of having much faster buffing in the boss battles. Is PS1 as hardcore as the NES version? No. PS1 is a very easy version. I mean, it's harder than all the other remakes, but it's nowhere near as difficult as NES was. Just barely got into land. This is actually a little bit unfortunate to have the encounter here because of already having used my house. So I'll probably have to house again right before we get into Onrak. What I'll do is actually try to make the walk. And if it doesn't work out, I won't be all that upset. Alright. Still okay. Still okay. Oh, I should put the ice brand on somebody. Probably that should go on to... Oh, can they use it? Yeah, they can use it. Never mind. Thinking that there wouldn't be anybody that would have access to it, but of course the Red Wizards can do that. It's the ice armor that they can't use. Okay, those are good, those are good. We will need a whole bunch of those. Hopefully I have enough cash coming out of here. I need another 32,000 by the end of the Sea Shrine. I can pick up 10,000 next to the ribbon. That'll really help. The reason for all that money is I want to buy, well, at least Cure 3 for everybody. I think Life 1 would help as well, but I guess that's not as essential. Like, maybe Dan gets Life 1, and Bill and Cal don't. Sorry, Spooky Ghost Mermaid here. Hoping to get through here with no Naga encounters. Actually, pretty much all the encounters on the middle floor are either mediocre or bad. The top floors actually have some better groups. The one thing that here is not too bad is if we get the double Gur Shark. Those are pretty good experience. Like that. Actually, Gauntlet, and everybody Bolt 2s. Try to make this fight as fast as possible. I really don't need Bolt 2 for anything besides enemy battles. Kraken, it's going to be all haste and tempers on aces. So the red mages don't have to do any actual spell casting for damage. Got him. Okay. Opal armor is very tempting. But we are going to come up to the Dragon Armor pretty soon. Dragon Armor is going to be early on in Mirage Tower. So I have to do the Kraken battle with only... what do you even have on? Might still be Steel Armor, which is Iron in the original NES version. Steel was the upgraded one in Melmond that is ridiculously expensive. But I don't think I've actually gotten any armor for Ace in a really, really long time. Maybe he should have the Opal Bracelet just for this one stretch, and then we'll give that to a mage after we get through Sea Shrine. Just in case Ace needs to tank some hits by Kraken. Alright, almost up to the mermaid floor. We have 2 casts of warp with Dan, so we'll be able to double warp out of here, but we won't warp at the Giant's Glove section. Let's go ahead and have you do that. You're going to gauntlet, and that will work out fine. These fights are probably not worth the time relative to the experience gain that I'm getting from it, but considering that the alternative is resetting and potentially getting more battles in there, I'm a little bit more willing to take these. Well, I evidently should be doing double bolt 2s instead of just one. There we go. Alright. Global Bracelet, aka Diamond Armlet in this game. We'll go pick up the Helmet for Ace, and then also the Slab, which is incorrectly renamed to Rosetta Stone. At least in my mind. They should not have touched the Slab. Should be good for the rest of the dungeon there. I don't usually take a lot of damage going down here, because any of the difficult fights are generally immediate skips. Things like ghosts or monster ambushes that have really large numbers of encounters. Okay, Nagas. We don't get Bolt 2, this is fine. That's fine. Oh, and it's this dumb battle. Well, I have Bolt and Gauntlet, and I guess another Bolt. This feels bad. This is a unrunnable encounter. It's not worth a lot of experience, and it's sucking up a bunch of my Bolt 2s. So I can't deal with as many battles, and also the Bolt 2s turn into Cure 2s downstairs, which is saving me potions in the long run. At least the gauntlets are free. At least the gauntlets are free. There we go. Now, starting on the descent down to Kraken, a lot of the monster formations do get harder in the bottom floors. But right here, you're going to be bouncing up and down between the bottom and top sections. So you'll see a really big variability in terms of what encounters you get. Makes it kind of hard to understand how the dungeon is structured unless you actually think about it from a map perspective. Like right now, we're under the mermaid floor. So these are weaker encounters than if we were going down towards Kraken. Now we're back on what's the equivalent of the ground floor. Thinking about I should probably go ahead and put all that gear on Ace. There's no reason to wait for reaching Kraken to do that. A little bit extra defense for him. I'm not doing that battle again. Not doing that again. Well, with only one Wiz-Zahag, we could potentially have gotten away with just a Gauntlets. It's a little bit risky that you don't get good turn order, and so the mages don't clean up on the red Zahags until the second round. But it's still not like a super long battle. Or it doesn't have to be a super long battle. If all 9 of the Zahags went early, then it would be super long. Ooh, ghosts. Only 2 ghosts, but still a bad fight. Ghosts do a lot of damage. That's looking at like 120 damage per hit from those things. We're actually making pretty good time through the Sea Shrine, so maybe we'll pick up a decent chunk of that time that we're behind. I do need to get the Giant's Glove right here, the ribbon, and then go down through Kraken's floor, but we're at least 3/4 or a little bit more of the Sea Shrine already done. That's not where I want to be. Trying to go around to the right-hand side because that does not have a trap tile. The bottom does. The trap tile's diagonally around both sides of those treasure chests. That would have been a safe square in NES land. One tile inside of a doorway on the south edge there. I guess that contributes a little bit to the higher encounter rate. It's just that you do not have nearly as many safe squares available. At least run from that. See if we can get around the corner and save. Nope. Okay, that'll put me back up to where the Giant's Gloves were. Alright, now I need to zigzag back up here. If I had the warp spell, that would save a bit of walking to go and warp back to the entrance of the floor. Because entrance is actually a lot closer to the ribbon than the Giant's Glove area is. And the ribbon is towards the stairway. So you always want to do the ribbon at the very end. Scorpions and sea snakes really shouldn't give us that much of a problem. Okay, there's some money, there's our ribbon, and we'll go ahead and put that on, I guess, Cal as our next person. I'll try to remember that Cal's getting a little built up. Actually, I should check to see who's got more HP, Bill or Cal, before doing that. Oh, Bill's got way more HP. I need to swap that ribbon around at some point. Cal is definitely going to be our sacrificial victim for the late game. Unless he gets an amazing stretch of HP growth over the next couple of levels, then he's almost certainly going to be my weakest red mage. And somebody has to be the victim because there's only 3 ribbons in the game. So you can't protect everybody against elements. So nice hearing the full song theme. You've usually got the music resetting every time you go into a menu or have a battle or thing, so you rarely get to hear the good parts of the music track. Except on the mermaid floor, where there's a full music loop available. Well, that was a pretty ridiculous Kraken floor up until that battle, so definitely happy about how that was going. Right, 1 troll's not bad. Now, you'd imagine the trolls would be a really good experience because the regular trolls are, and all of their related monsters like the Zombul are pretty good to fight. Let's just kill it. Doesn't have that much HP. But for some reason, these guys just don't give you very good rewards. It's actually better to fight like packs of sea snakes if you want to kill something in here. Or what I do is water elementals and gur sharks for most of my battles. Okay, let's try to make it to Kraken. We did it. Give you ribbon. Let's start dropping some cures. Make sure everybody's healed up to full. And this is going to hurt a lot because Ace does not have upgraded armor, so we're hoping that Kraken decides to be gentle and does not give anybody the full body massage. Let's do one giant skull at the start. See you later, Bill. 4 and 10, good hit. Alright, that's not bad. So, 2 more tempers on top of that, and we should be able to kill him next round. Unless Ace misses a lot. I'll temper again just in case, now that he's got the dark on. Okay, that's not nearly as bad as I was fearing. But the darkness did make Ace miss a couple of attacks there, so we didn't quite do enough. We were really close, though, to killing him. I think he's about 100 away. There he goes. Yeah, we did pick up some time. Not a bad Sea Shrine overall. And so falls the third of the 4 fiends. Oh, looking over those times, both Sky Castle and Chaos look pretty reasonable, especially the Temple of Fiends time. That looks very good. Sky Castle I might be able to shave some time off of, depending on how the trip through here goes. Ah, 5 minutes, you can gain or lose that on a Final Fantasy split, no problem. Now 10 minutes. 10 minutes would be amazing. Let's go ahead and do it here. I was debating about whether to get the life spell and using that to revive my dead red mage, but I think this is a little bit faster overall than having to cottage, I think, 3 times if I did that. Oops. Can't go through the bushes. It's not heroic to cut through the grass. Alright, let's go ahead, cottage once. That was not very far in a walk, so if I don't get a good encounter, I can just go and reset, but preempt is pretty nice. Guaranteed run right there. Alright, and down to Melmont to get our slab translated. I do have a warp spell, thanks to have just done that cottage outside. I will also buy, while I'm here, Life and Cure 3 for people. Let's go ahead and get that. I really don't think anybody besides Dan is going to benefit from the life spell, so let's go and just do that. Got some extra money. I probably just put that on the wrong mage, but whatever. I want to say that they got flipped again thanks to the Kraken death. But I don't have anything else to use cash on. At this point, I should have enough cottages for the rest of the game. Question though is, will we get level 15 on anybody? Oh, that's right. The stupid way that this works is that you warp back to the magic shop from Doctor in there. And if I warped again, it would just take me outside the magic shop. It wouldn't even help. least get over to the better area. So if I get encounters on this side of the lake, this is the Peninsula Power Zone, whereas the west side is the monsters from the Rurikhan Desert area. So these are much better for XP. As you can see, this is the Zombul Troll fight, which you grind on quite heavily if you ever want to abuse Peninsula Power. Didn't quite get an optimal one. 4 Zombuls is the best, since they do give you more experience than the Trolls do. But anything with 4 monsters is pretty good. It should be probably about 950 experience for everybody. Yagamoth, welcome in. Thanks for the good wishes. Saw you doing some Secret of Mana earlier. Will we be seeing Yagagoth, or did you finish before the time limit for that? Alright, Frostbow is not worth dealing with, but luckily you can pretty much run from everything here. Yagagoth is going to be a thing. Well, I hope everybody goes and watches Yagamoth's channel when he has to do his penalty game for not meeting his time for Secret of Mana. Oh wow, it crashed in the final stretch. Yeah, I saw you were doing pretty good overall, but there was a lot of difficult things that could have happened based on the roulette spins that it would definitely have contributed to some slowdown. Well, I hope overall that the event that you put on was successful for the Rip Runners organization, and that you're happy with how it all has been turning out. See what we get for Toga Party here. Oh, this is going to be a slow one. Hi. How you doing? Doing good? Doing great. There we go. At least it wasn't 2 of them back to back. There's so many of these Lufenians walking around, they can just completely block up that little corridor on the side. Yeah, let's not save. Okay, with only 2 warps, what are my best options for these? I guess warping after the ribbon shield pickup? Yeah, only 2 monsters. That one's not worth doing the unrunnable for. Is there anywhere else that warping would help out? I'll probably do it as a 1-pass trip through Mirage Tower, unless a lot of bad stuff happens in the trip up to Aegis Shield, just so I have to go outside again. Or actually, no. If I get the Aegis Shield warp and then cottage there, I will do that basically for free, and then can go and do the short route over to where the second floor is. Here, by the way, is the optimal Zombul fight. There should be a 25% chance of getting this formation, but it seems a lot rare on the PlayStation version. It's very, very close to 25% on NES. Nice, this is a good runnable. Giants still extremely slow. Like, they were actually pretty easy to run from back at Earth K, which is usually the first time that you're going to be encountering them. Technically, you could encounter them earlier on if you decide to go sail to Melmond right away. Or not to Melmond, to Crescent Lake right away instead of to Melmond. Alright, at this point, I think these encounters are kind of starting to get diminishing returns. If we get good fights in Mirage Tower, there could be stuff that we take there. Large Garter Vampire groups. It's tough to do that with this group. Actually, 3 Zombuls is still worth doing. Maybe this will help Bill and Cal get level 13. Level 14 is probably what we want to see, and then 15 by the end of the game so that they can cast one 5th tier spell. Actually, it does make me a little bit worried that they're not going to have 15 before Temple of Fiends. I was kind of banking on Bill and Cal having at least a Cure 3 spell to do on the Chaos Battle to help me out on that. And while they can definitely get 15 in the temple, they need to have it before the temple for the spell charge to be applied. This is the more dangerous area. Okay, there is one Ankelo. He's not too bad. Rankelo, though. Rankelo is real tough. And I'm still not sure why they moved Mirage Tower so much here. Like, I get that they did want to make it so that you would not be able to miss it. Because with the current, or the original Mirage Tower position, you have to walk a little bit northwest of where you can land the airship in order to reach it. And so probably people were getting lost in the desert. But you have a map for the game. It feels like it shouldn't be that big of an obstacle this late in. Even though this is only one Agama, these guys are probably too hard to run from, so I'm going to go ahead and just kill them. Fire 2 does a great job. Unlike when we were in the Earth Cave, we actually have these Fire 2s. Didn't quite make it. Oh, and that's a bad fight, so there goes my vampire experience. At least it was only 2 of them. So that was a much better run. A little bit weird that we weren't going to kill him, but they are weak to ice, so Dan does get a bonus there for using the ice brand. Didn't get it again. Gonna try to run. These are really fast monsters, especially the Nightmare. The Bad Man's not bad. It's Bad Man Nightmare for this formation. It's not Evil Man until you're upstairs. There we go, we got away. I'm gonna pick up my Aegis Shield there. Dan can warp us out, and we'll go ahead and use another Cottage here to get all of our spell charges back. That's why I wasn't really worried about using spells during that stretch. Alright, what pickups do I want? I guess Sunblade's still useful. It's not really that exciting, but since I need to get probably Thor and Dragon Armor anyway, I'll be right there to pick up Sunblade at the same time. Alright, second floor. Big group of guards. Actually, let's have you Gauntlet, and we are going to Bolt, because this is 2.5 Agamas worth of experience. I definitely want to grab this one. Be sharp, thank you much for the subscription there. I hope you enjoy your complimentary Out of Bounds bat. Make sure you don't lose him, it's really hard to find him if he ever goes out of bounds again. And thank you very much for supporting the channel as well. Got 3 guards, which I probably could have taken, but I was expecting to not be able to run there. And with only 3, it wasn't nearly as valuable to go and get the experience. 4 and 5 is usually what I look for guards or vampires. Catmen, you really don't want any of these things. Working around the middle. Okay, we got level 13 at least on Bill and Cal. Trying to run. Failed to run. Once you start seeing the vampires do damage, because they hit so hard, that's definitely going to suck up a lot of my healing. That and, of course, the infamous Blue D are what you kind of worry about, just kind of the incremental damage. Okay, that's nice. Go ahead and do another one of these. This is only 2 Agamas, but still not bad. Every Agama does help. Yeah, we're just getting sniped by this encounter rate. Once we get to the middle section, and I'll be able to grab the items there, that'll help out Ace for survivability. It doesn't really help out the red mages, though, so I will definitely have to play it a little bit safe going through the tower with this group. I am shocked we did not just get, like, quadruple blazed. The services really love to use their fire breath attack as opposed to just biting you. Okay, let's see if we get in there. One more try around the corner. Alright, I got pretty far in. So let's do Thor Hammer first. Still have about 14 minutes to Tiamat, which I think we can do Sky Castle in 14 minutes. Assuming we get through this floor. If we can get through this floor, then we can get to Sky Castle, probably no problem. Once you get up to about 3rd floor of Sky Castle, then that place actually speeds up quite a lot. I don't know if it's the encounter rate differences, but you definitely notice that the first 2 floors are ones that are a lot harder to cross. Let's actually keep Defender on you. Oh, that helps a lot also for distributing off the armor overall. So now that Ace has got the dragon armor, he's not stealing the diamond armlet from the mages. And that's the best mage gear you can get. So that really helped out Dan, as well as whoever got the gold armlet to be passed down to. Because I got so many cottages, I actually can't afford the other gold armlet, even if I went back to Guy at this point. That's a nope. 8 cockatrices. I would not want to have to deal with that. I don't think it's possible to have 9, so that's probably the worst you can ever see. I didn't even know 8 was possible. I thought it was either 6 or 7 for it, and the rest would have to be Pyralisks. Alright, 3rd floor. At least the encounters tend to get a little bit better here. And the big thing to watch out for still is going to be the upcoming battle against Blue D. So let's go ahead, drop the fires. This one's worth taking for the vampires. Gauntlets are not going to do nearly as much here, but it does help out if you have Ace go second, for example. He would be able to kill at least 1 vampire. Or 4 vampires. You know, if he feels like it. Okay, never got Ace Cure 1, but we're going to go buy Canary at the end of the game. So that'll be a better time to do that anyway. Here we go, Blue D time. No Thunders, please. We will haste Ace at the start of this. Got plenty of steals, so might as well temper him as well. Good. The Blue D made a very big mistake there, biting Dan instead of thundering the party. Even though Dan, of course, is the primary threat he needs to take down. Oh, we didn't quite get him. Alright. That was really close. Good thing I saved afterwards. We'll go upstairs, enter into Sky Castle floor number 1. We have 10 minutes to get to Tiamat still. There's a couple good fights here in this stretch, so like Black Knights, aka Badmen, I should be able to run from. If I get eyes, I can kill them. Gurnagas, I can kill pretty easily as well. So I don't have to reset for everything, but I should at least kind of make a decision really quickly at the start of the battle without a reset is the better choice. We do want to get the third ribbon, and we'll go and get Excalibur materials after that. I guess I'll go ahead and take this. This is what I might not have wanted to do, because the Elemental, yeah. Reset quickly. Elemental is way slower to kill. He's got very high evasion, so you're going to have trouble hitting him. If it was Gurnaga by herself, then it wouldn't be a problem. Hardcore Mana Cores. Again, I should probably just reset faster on those. Poison should only hit one mage at this point, but that's still somebody I would have to go into the menu and antidote afterwards. And I think those things are also pretty hard to run from. There's Naga by herself. Just hoping that you get a lot of damage hit before she blinks. That's fine. We got her. I don't even know why I got the Diamond Shield. Nobody else can use it. At least for right now, I guess mages should have all of the ribbons. Ace will get a ribbon later on, but we don't have to worry about time magic or earth magic through this stretch. So Dragon Armor plus Aegis is perfect defense for him. One Chimera. The Blaze is annoying, but these guys are good experience. We should be doing enough damage now to reliably one-round him. Optimize is the best menu option. I mean, I do agree to some extent. Optimize is really handy to have. But it does make some dumb decisions. It bases armor purely on absorb rating. And it bases weapons purely on base attack power. Which... Armor, there are some pieces that have like good elemental stats and so on that you might not want the highest bit of gear on. And weapons definitely so, because of attacks per round being based on your accuracy rating. So you don't want to equip a stronger base damage weapon if it's going to lower your number of attacks per round. And the optimizer doesn't take that into account for the character classes. Alright, we got some adamant. I don't think warping on this floor for PlayStation makes sense. I want to say I do it on GBA, because I can get through more of the encounters, but this one's more about saving and loading, so the little zigzag hallway is not nearly as bad. I don't know, maybe I should try it out. It is really, really close between whether or not warp can help you out there. It's more likely to be useful on easy mode, where you've got near unlimited amounts of spell charges. Almost. Not gonna sit through an ambush. Even if it's a good monster. There we go. Made it up to 3rd floor. And there's nothing else you need to do in the dungeon, so this is just like straight running 2 exits at this point. Also on 3rd and 4th floors, as well as pretty much the entire 5th floor, none of the encounters are worth fighting, so you just instantly reset for the battles. Okay, let's go up and to the left. Just for variety. See that? You don't want that encounter. I don't know who came up with that, but they need to not do any more video game design. So you've got 6 Mind Flayers, and then on top of that you have Clay Golems who will haste the Mind Flayers, allowing them to do more attacks per round. It is a disgustingly bad encounter. Alright, we've done 1 up and 1 left. Let's try to get a 2nd left in. Start going up on that. It's probably close enough that I should have just gone for it, but we'll say that was the safer approach. Now, 5th floor here, hoping no remakes. Warmech is a 1 in 64 chance, and the encounter rate's lower than the original, so your actual chance of running into Warmech is maybe like a 10th or so of the original, but still very bad if you see him. Actually, it's probably not quite a 10th, but it's 1/3 and then maybe like 1/2. Should have enough spells. Alright, here we go. Tiamat time. I will Giant's Glove once. We're going to haste and double temper round 1, then triple temper round 2. So I'm hoping this cuts a round of combat off of this fight. Like, I might not even need to Giant's Glove at the start because of how many tempers I have. Good munch. Alright, Thunderbolt's fine. At this point, I do want to use the elemental spells because everybody's going to be protected against them, and that's less likely to kill somebody than a bite attack. Hey, Gene, welcome in. Thanks for the good wishes there. We should be doing some good damage. This is a lot of buffs on Ace right now. Oh, we got all of them. Come on, Ace. Let's see if we can get a one-shot. Not in this version. That would have been really close to a one-shot in NES. Oh, actually Ace needs to do good damage here. Got her. That's not what I wanted to do. Let's call that a split. I have to go back and fix up my crack and split later. World record pace. It is actually world record pace, just because not many people play the normal PlayStation version of this game. Why is Dan's HP so good? Because he's 3 levels higher than Bill and Cal, maybe 4 levels. At Gurgir Volcano, I killed off Bill and Cal so that Ace and Dan got more experience. Everybody celebrates. And will we get out of here without a Warmech battle? No Warmechs. Even better. So I'll Cottage here. I'll Cottage one more time right outside of Temple of Fiends. I wanted to Cottage here so I get a warp spell for Dwarf Cave. I guess that's not really all that important in this version because you move so much faster for walking around. And it looks like we are only level 14 for Bill and Cal. That is really unfortunate. They will not have any 5th tier spells. How close are they to leveling up? Not even close. Alright. Mistakes were made. So that means Dan's gonna lose a 5th tier spell charge on the warp. No, wait, we don't need to get Mastery, never mind. We don't need any warps at all. He is the only person that can bring people back to life, and so if Dan dies at like the Kraken fight or the Tiamat fight, I'd have to redo it. We are good on potions. Alright, here we go. 2,000 years into the past. I agree, B Sharp. Warmech is the best and only name for that guy. You cannot call him Death Machine. That's just wrong. Oh, nice. We didn't even get stuck by bats. And no ghoul fight either. So, even better. Pure one for Ace I decided to not get. He'd only have 2 casts of it. And that's a really far trip for only 2 potion equivalents. Right, even though I can get some good experience here, at this point in the game... Wow, 18, 18, 14, 14 is ridiculous for levels. I didn't realize they'd be quite this low for it. Ooh, purple worms too. Those would have been good earlier. I'm having some serious regrets about some of my decisions for this party, but we'll try it. I know we can finish Temple of Fiends with this, but if it requires more resets than normal, that could slow me down for the boss fights. Because a lot of times with most of the party at around level 18, you're going to do the bosses first try, whereas that is less likely to be true for me tonight. I guess, Bill, you're going to lose your ribbon. Okay, you need ribbon and Excalibur. I guess you guys can actually put on the better gear. Defender really doesn't help me all that much in this version. Because of the way that evasion works, it no longer caps out your evasion before comparing against to the enemies. So it's harder for you to get to a point where the enemies can't damage you. Like, it takes a lot of blinks and white robes to actually be able to avoid most of the endgame boss's attacks. You should be fine. You guys are going to, I guess, double haste Ace to increase the chances of a haste going off. A hasted Excalibur should do pretty good damage on Phantom here. Double hasting does not make you any faster, but good enough. Almost made it across that floor with no bad encounters. I'm really tempted about getting the Pro Cape on carry each floor, but it's pretty far out of the way for a route that doesn't have encounter manipulation. Hey, Pixelippy. Welcome in. Hope you enjoyed the AGDQ run. It was really fun. And the NES version plays very differently than the PlayStation version that I'm doing right now. So I actually go back and forth between them depending on what night it is. Like last night was a very nice NES Final Fantasy night. Okay, second floor here is mostly unrunnables and bad encounters, so probably not even worth poking my head in. First floor, a single purple worm would be not bad to fight, but I could probably just skip everything. At level 15, you don't really get much improvement for either the Knight or the Red Wizard, so I don't have a lot of hope for Bill or Cal getting significantly better. Hey, Laser, thanks very much. Okay, first floor time. Just so much of this floor is Frost Dragons that you really have to be very aggressive saving. This is one of the tougher spots for GBA as well, where most of the time up until like this late section you can run from things, but then it just like completely hits a brick wall. Yeah, I'm sure we'll get sub 3 hours soon. It was very close until the Cure 4 on Chaos. Either the Cure 4 on Chaos or Bane working on Tiamat. Either of those would have been a sub 3 last night. Why does Nikki have a huge lead on GBA? She plays on emulator, and it's also a different route. Both of those contribute a lot to it, so it's hard to say what direct impacts there are. Emulator is like about 10 minutes faster that I found, and then her route is better than what I was using at the time. So there's definitely some improvements there as well. Alright, we made it. So I'm going to go ahead and set up Bill and Cal to get turned to stone during this stretch here. I guess we do want to have maybe Dan in the front? This is tricky. Because I don't want the Red Wizards to get beaten up by the Medusas, but I don't have a other good option for increasing the rate at which they're being targeted. Alright, we actually got the fight right away. So you're going to go ahead and do that, and that. Waste some more time with other stuff. With 6 of them, I can probably afford to gauntlet once at the start to reduce their size of their pack. Gauntlet shouldn't kill them. Here's where I wish I didn't have the defender on somebody. Ooh, I killed 2 of them. They're not turning Bill and Cal to stone. Alright, that was a bad setup. Let me swap around Defender so that Ace can use that during the fight. I'd feel a lot better about the setup if I did that. Yeah, just remove. Cal doesn't need weapons. This isn't manipulated, so if I don't get an encounter that I want to see for the Medusas, I do have to still reset. But this increases my chances of getting a useful encounter on the way to Lich. I mean, I guess in theory I could also take Bill and Cal into the Lich fight. It's just ridiculously dangerous for them at this level. Yeah, that's a lot of damage. Alright, there's Medusas again. So, oops. Just need to use something that's not going to be effective. And then where'd Defender go? There it is. Alright, Bill's down. This will help a little bit reducing the chances of Ace getting paralyzed. Come on, just turn everybody but Ace into statues here. I guess you could leave Dan alone as well. Dan's an effective member of my party. Okay, now we're being able to completely dodge them. That's great. There we go, stoned. That happened pretty late in the round as well, which is also something I want to see. So you're going to Gauntlet, you're going to go ahead Thor. This is the reason I pick up Thor's hammer, is just so that we have 2 lit 2s per round here. As long as Dan doesn't get paralyzed, we should be able to kill all the Medusas here. Here's 1. And this should be the other 4. Maybe the one in the front is going to miss. Yep. 2 of them, actually. Surprising. This is good experience, so it is a chance to get Ace and Dan a little bit of extra XP as well. That was a very slow Medusa fight overall. Kind of disappointed. Now, most of the encounters on this floor are not too bad. The Earth Mentals are unrunnable, which is why I still need to memo save through. Fire Elementals on the next floor are also unrunnable, but a lot of the other carry encounters, for some reason, you have a hard time getting away from. Trying to save as much HP as I can. Last time through here, I did get very low on potions. Okay, this is not Lich. But it's for Earth Mentals, so we don't want to take this fight. We have a little bit more than 20 minutes after Lich to beat the game. Should be doable. Alright, Lich decided to not nuke us on round 1, but it's another 75% chance to nuke on round 2. So we're unlikely to get through here with a nukeless Lich. It can happen though. Nah, not this time. Pretty good damage though. Overall, that was better than a lot of nukes. We got him. Alright, carries floor next. I won't turn Bill and Cal back to life until we get to carry, I think. Kind of having to make a call here. I don't have a lot of life spells to work with, so I definitely want to make sure that we don't run out of uses of those from earlier fights. Because it's a lot more important to use them for Kraken or Tiamat if we happen to get through those. Also, for some reason, it feels like the floors are bigger in Temple of Fiends in the remakes. I think it's because when I'm going through here in NES, I know where all the encounters are, and they're fairly far apart. So you can get through the floors relatively quickly until you get down to Krakens, and then it gets become a little bit more messy. But both Lich and Carrie's floor tend to be very few encounters, and all things that you can run from. So we can run from Grey Worms. That's like Pixility. Hopefully refreshing will help with that. Could try to take some more Agamas here, see if we get level 19 for Ace and Dan. But I think I'll just go for the kill. I mean, they might still hit 19 from the experience along the way. Just very low odds. Alright, let's do it. Gold needles, there we go. Ribbon and ribbon. They need ribbons because Fire 3 otherwise does a lot of damage to them. And here we go. Carry 2, so Giant's Glove. I guess you can do haste, temper, and haste and haste. We got so many hastes around that I don't have to worry about running out like I normally do. I probably don't need to worry about running out of tempers as well, but I will, I'll stick with 2 tempers and a Giant's Glove here for carry. Actually, you can probably temper again. Yeah, we should be fine. I want to say with one more temper, Ace has got a very high chance of killing carry next round. Cow the punch! Cow punch! Forgot I took off his defender. Does more damage with the punch than he does with the sword. There we go, carry down. Just realized there's only one knight in the run. Yeah, Bill's taking the night off. He's dressing as a red mage. I think it's a good look for him, but I'm not sure if it's going to work out in the end. Okay, most of the fights on Kraken's floor are awful. You have a lot of encounters with like 8 or 7 monster packs, and so they're very slow. They do enough damage also that you pretty much have to heal up every time. If we can get through here, we can get through Tiamat's floor really fast since we don't need the Mazmune. We got a pretty good shot of around a 345. But first things first, getting through Kraken's floor is going to be a big deal. Kraken's floor also ends a lot of GBA runs. Well, not ends the run, but makes you lose a lot of time because of how bad the encounters are. Up to this point, like a lot of the floors, like you can see their example of an encounter like that where you'd spend a long time before you could try to get away from them. Same things happens in the world record run where you're doing it solo, and since NES you can't just cheese past the encounters there. Those particularly hurt if you get stuck in one for a while. Like an 8 monster ambush is just, you know, like a minute time loss by itself. Let's see what we get here. Nope, not fighting water elementals. One of the scariest formations here. Water elementals, like a 1 water elemental battle, not bad. Like we see back at Sea Shrine. But when they're in large packs like this, they do a lot of damage. And they're very tough to kill overall. Is there a no memo use category? I think that you could do like a no reset run or something. I don't know if anybody's actually done runs of it because the encounter rate in this game is ridiculously high compared to the NES. So to get through here without some way of quickly getting rid of a lot of encounters, you would need to spend much, much more time grinding overall. Almost. One more good stretch in here, and we'll be in position to go after Kraken. Fiesel does a no reset run for NES where you can manipulate the encounters. Alright, that's a small enough group I can go and try to do the run on this. There we go. Okay, heal everybody up. NES no reset it's a very nice looking run, but it's also pretty tough because any mistake for your step walking more or less ends it. It's tough to get back onto a step route after you've lost it. There's a few spots in the game where you can potentially recover, but not many. I guess you can do haste here. You got temper and temper. We're behind on tempers on Bill and Cal, so this should work out. And I cannot let Dan die. He's the only person that has the life spell. So hopefully Kraken does not kill him. Other than that, the fight should be pretty straightforward. With this much damage, you don't have to worry as much about Ace being killed by Kraken. Still a possibility, but the odds of it go down quite a lot. Alright, we should be good. We might not have wanted to do the extra temper with Cal, but we should still be okay. They fixed the thief escape in this version. Running does work correctly, so it is something that's been addressed. Like that's why I have to do a lot of the encounters by resetting, because you can't run through the late game dungeon. Don't kill him. Oh, man. We were doing so good, Kraken. We were doing so good. That might have just cost us a 345. You're gonna have that. You have that. Actually, you should haste. There we go. Ace probably would have hit 2,000, but he only needed to do another 1,200 to kill Kraken. That's why I was going for that setup. Actually, you should just attack. You can afford to attack, and you are going to steal. Don't kill him. Wow. That is so much damage. This is where it really hurts to not have level 15 for Bill and Cal. If they had 15, then this would have been no problem doing this setup. So we need to have Kraken give us a couple good turns in a row. Alright, bolt 2. I like that. Ink, that's good. Okay. We should be okay now. Assuming that he does not kill anybody on the next round. That's why I tried to Defender on Dan, so that he has more defense. Hopefully can dodge some of the hits. He just Defender again. Alright, still okay. Still okay. Did lose a lot of time there. That was like, what, 2.5 minutes that was, could have been better. So, unfortunate. This will put us right around 350 now for the finale. That's assuming that nothing goes wrong on Tiamat or Chaos. Is Darkness still bugged? Darkness seems to reduce your accuracy, but it doesn't do it as much as I expected it to. So it's unclear if it was fully working as intended. They might have like changed the formulas around because of it being totally ineffective before. So who knows how they rebalanced it. Okay, poison's fine. Everybody should be immune to this. And I don't think double Giant's Glove is going to make sense here, so let's go attack. You've got 2 tempers for Chaos. You're going to... Giant's Glove, you're going to Defender. You got that, and then... You don't need to do anything else. Okay. So ever play Final Fantasy V? I have not done it recently. I have played through it. Actually, not sure if I even played through it on stream, but I have in the past played GBA, and I never got into the Super Famicom version, even though I own a copy of it. So I might at some point play it, but probably not for speedrunning purposes. Okay, let's go Defender again. Just attack. Try to keep Dan alive, which now that he's got 2 Defenders up, should be good. Okay, 1 more hit from Ace, and then Tiamat goes down. Alright, an Ice 2 is not going to kill anybody. There we go. Alright, next up, Chaos. I probably should double Giant's Glove at the start of it, and then we'll see where we go from there. Hopefully it's going to be a 3-round battle after the double Giant's Glove. It depends on if Bill, who is going to be our sacrificial victim, makes it all the way through the first couple of rounds or not. Alright. Let's just give you leather cap and give you ribbon. Neat seeing the red wizard running around in here. Not a very common sight. Differences between Super Famicom and GBA is a lot, especially for speedrunning. A lot of the things that are glitched in Super Famicom were fixed for GBA, but GBA has its own things that you can exploit pretty heavily in there. Alright. Oops. No. Okay. Don't go the wrong way through the stairs. And we have a pretty good shot of sub 350, assuming things go well. Don't want to see a death on Chaos, but other than that, we should be good. At least for a small improvement. Hoping for like a sub 340 at some point, depending on how the routing for this goes. Fire, thanks for the host. Just in time for the finale. It's gonna do a lot of damage to Bill. I am worried about the damage that we've done so far, especially if he keeps going on the skill line. Okay, Ice 3, Bill's dead. We need to start dumping heals on Ace. I don't know if Cal and Dan can realistically survive this fight, but we need Ace to survive. Chaos has got 4,000 hit points in this version, so it's not as bad as GBA, but still a lot. Also, we've buffed the heck out of Ace. So, hopefully it's 1,000 damage plus per hit here, so 3 more rounds to go. Ooh, this is gonna hurt. I don't want Cal to die. He's got a cure 3 we could use. No, Dan's got a cure 3. Never mind. Cal can die. Just barely. This is going to be rough. Getting through 2 more turns. There's Bolt 3 as well. Bolt 3 is actually a pretty good one because that does less damage on Ace than almost everything else. Oh, 1500. That's good. See you later, Dan. Well, hope we get a good turn over here. Easy every time. 346.51. 93 hit points to spare. I don't even know why I got that many hit points. I could have saved way more time by skipping some of those.